Hello everyone. How are we going? Just having a little tidy up. SDUNV. How is everybody out there in the world? Are you guys all good? Glad to be coming towards the end of another week. I know I certainly am. This week has been challenging for a number of reasons. But it's all good. You know? It's all good. Because it's nearly over. Blood angle's red. Goes there. Ah. You're drawing attention to your slightly disturbing paint sorting system. My paint sorting system is perfect. Everyone thinks it's weird, but it's perfect. And I don't know what you're talking about. You see how easily I'm putting everything away? If that's not perfect, I don't know what is. I know where it all goes. I know exactly which point it goes into. So I just have to look at it, and I know where it goes. Good afternoon from East Coast, Canada. Doing great. Almost finished my Dark Angel Successor Chapter Master using Trajan as a base. Lovely. Sounds wonderful. I just keep my paints all in one box or on the table unsorted. I'm wild like that. Well, that's cool. You do you, man. Oh, just so easy. What's that? That's River Brass. That goes there. Ah, there we go. Much nicer. Much nicer. Tidied away. I've left a few off because I'm in the midst of using them at the moment. But we are... There's much more space on my desk, which is lovely. Makes my brain feel happy. Anyway, hello everyone. We're live. We are ready to go for the stream that we will be viewing together for the previews. Who's got any predictions? I can tell you what my predictions are. They're not as exciting as you think they're going to be. I think it's going to be fine. I don't think we're going to see an enormous preview of things. I think this is basically going to be red Corsairs and whatever is opposite them. In their book. So, red Corsairs. My guess, I've said this for a while. My guess is Prince Uriel. So we'll see that, and they'll be in a book together, which we'll also see previewed. I think we'll see a sneaky teaser trailer, possibly a single model from 11th edition. Age of Sigmar wise, we're going to find out what the next battle tome is, whatever that's going to be. Horus Heresy, we might see another transfigured Primarch. Or more likely, some form of Solar Auxilia or AdMech thing, or so Mechanicum thing, sorry. And Blood Bowl, who knows? I'm predicting it's pre-recorded as the last preview was a shambles. Well, they're not at any events as far as I know, so even if they do it live, they'll be at their own place where they have full control. So I think hopefully it'll be fine. No old world, so boo. I know what you mean. So yeah, I think you know, usually these things run for an hour. I don't think this one will. I think this one's going to run for maybe 45 minutes. We 100% may experience audio issues. I mean, that's true. We may experience audio issues. I don't think we will. I think we'll be fine. And if we do, that's fine for me, because it means I can vamp. But everything kicks off in about 38 minutes. So we have about half an hour to kill before then. US Open in Palm Springs is this weekend. It is, but I don't think in the article they said they were there. Let's see. We're inviting you to join us in a few days' time for the New Year Warhammer Preview Live. It'll be the first preview of the year, and we've got a great slate of reveals for 40k, Age of Sigmar, Horus Heresy, and Blood Bowl, all lined up for you. The show will be going out live at 7:30 PM, which is this Friday. Yeah. Yeah, no, I think they're just at home. Hello, Chris. I've just picked up a resin-printed High Elf team, so we'll def be High Elves. Could be. Could be. Do they call that Murphy's Law? They generally only do event previews from really big events like LVO, Nova, etc. Yeah, exactly. And, of course, the Warhammer World Championships, which was the last preview that we had. It was at the Warhammer World Championships. So that's cool. Looking forward to new Ossiarch Bone Bros. Well, I don't know if we are going to get Ossiarch Bone Reapers. Who knows? We're definitely going to see what the next battle tome is, for sure. For sure. If I had to, if I had to guess, I'm going to say an Order faction. I can't tell you which one. I'd love to see Cities of Sigmar, but I think the 40k is the headline here. So Age of Sigmar is going to be pretty light touch. I can't imagine it being a big deal for Age of Sigmar, having just had Maggotkin of Nurgle as well. It's 2 PM US East Coast time. They wouldn't do this in the middle of the day while the tourney is going on. I'd assume they are home in the UK after the mess of that last preview. Well, yeah. Non-stream related question. Did you paint Festus as one bit? Could it be painted slug and top section? I collect mine. Yeah, I painted him as a single model. But yeah, you can sub-assemble him. My wishlist announcements would be another Tau Auxiliary and Catachan's something. But I don't expect to see either anytime soon. I think there's a decent chance that next edition you will see another Guard regiment. Because so far we've had the Cadian redo, then we had the Krieg redo. I could see Catachan's being next, but not until 11th edition. And I could see them getting basically the same treatment. But alongside that, you get Catachan Guardsmen, then you get a heavy weapons team, some form of heavy gun, maybe not an artillery piece, but something like that, and then a specific Cadian 1 or 2 thing. Not Cadian, Catachan 1 or 2 things. That, I think, is probably the blueprint. And they can do that for, like, 9 more editions. Because they could do Valhallan, they could do Vostroyan, they could do Talarn, they could do Tanith, they could do Mordian, they could do Praetoria. You know, see, so we could go. They could do that for the next 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 editions. I mean, they could bring back Elysian drop troops. Is that I've got that right? Yeah, Elysian drop troops. They could do that as well. So that's what I mean. Is I think that's probably what the format is going to be going forward for the Guard. And I could see. Oh, Steel Legion. It's a great one. I forgot that one. Thank you very much, Grey Wolf. But there we go. I don't think Steel Legion would come before Catachan because it's too similar to the Krieg in some ways. And then I think I think Catachan has a big plastic range, which they probably want to get rid of at this point. Which is why I think if I was surprised Krieg happened before Catachan. So, you know, is what it is. Any real news about Launchbox being Orc refresh, or still just rumor mill stuff? It's still just rumor mill stuff at this time. At this point, I will be really disappointed if it is Orcs. And it's not because I don't like Orcs; it's that Orcs don't need it. They really don't. They don't need to be a launch box. Hello, Steve. You know, Drakari need it. If this is the vibe that we go for, where we revamp factions, Drakari need it. Orcs don't. When does it start? It starts in 31 minutes. Marines don't need launch box treatment either. Well, no, but see, they are always in it. They are an ever constant. That's the thing. Last week I bought the remaining Catachan stuff on the GW site because they are ancient at this point. I'm even fairly convinced that... Is Iron Hand Strachan? No, he must be Finecast. He must be. Strachan. Do they even sell him anymore? No, they don't. Warhammer 40,000. Armies of the Imperium. Astra Militarum. Filters. Sort by. Low to high. So there's old Sly. It's Catachan Jungle Fighter. There's Catachan Command. Catachan Heavy Weapons. Is that it for Catachans? Looks like it. Yeah, I thought up until very recently, when they were still selling things like Colonel Iron Hand Strachan, that he was still a metal model, but he's clearly not here. So ignore me. They still sell that Astra Militarum tank accessory sprue. That's funny. This pack contains 1 Imperial Guard tank accessory frame. Cool. I believe that used to come with a frame that had the sponsons for a Baneblade on it. It doesn't look like it does anymore. Anyway. I'm sorry, what? Are you saying I'm sorry, what, when I say orcs don't need a refresh? I want you to tell me what orcs need refreshing. Because as far as I'm concerned, it's literally the Storm Boys and the bikes. Those are the oldest things, right? They could just stop selling the old boys box. Because there is a boys box that they sold, which was a redo. Bearing in mind. A Prime Orc. But then you usurp Gazkul. I don't see why they would put a thing above him. If you see what I mean. He's the faction leader, realistically. So to put something above him, you know? Upgrade sprues are a scam. I think they are if you don't have a little bit. There are some that are a bit scammy. I dislike the Blood Angels one because the Blood Angels one is an excuse for getting rid of 3 dreadnoughts. That's the problem with it. Award-winning scam. The the Nemesis Claw upgrade sprue. Yeah, it was very funny. It was very funny. And this is our model of the year. It's time to put on music. Tim Chaser, thank you so much for 5 gifted Warhipster memberships. That's legendary support right there. Thank you so much. We're quite a long way from our 50 goal for the week. And you've been a member for 30 months. 30 whole months. That's insane. Thank you so much. Flash Gits and Mega Knobs could use a refresh. Okay, that's fair. That's fair. That's 4 things. That's 4 things. But bear in mind how much they've also had that was new. Do you know what I mean? Like that's the thing for me with Orcs. It's like if they're gonna be a launch box set, it's like cool, I guess. Because they've got to come up with a brand new character, because they're not just going to do another war boss and stick it in. Because there is a war boss. And there's the beast boss. And there's a war boss on Squig. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's just tons of stuff available. Big Mech, Mad Dog, all of this sort of stuff. It's like, oh, okay. Cool. A war boss on war boss. Now I like that. Illy, thank you very much for being a member for 20 months. 20 months. Maybe they do it as a Speed Freaks box and bring back the old Orc biker character who drove into a Titan. I could see that, but at the same time, it's like if the 11th edition box is Orcs on bikes versus Space Marines on bikes, I feel like that's going to be a box that has maybe 25 models in. And I think at that point, it's fair to be pretty pissed off about that. Because usually these are an opportunity to drop like 40 to 50 models, right? In a box to launch you into the faction. So to be like, bikes on bikes. It's like, because they're not going to give you like 30 bikes. No. Bard's extended family, maybe his grand, the weird uncle only seen at Christmas or weddings. Yeah, that's true. That's true. It's a possibility. Dahi, thank you very much for being a member for 20 months, you bloody legend. New Deathcopters. Alright, here's the thing with Deathcopters. Deathcopters are old, yes, but they weren't on sale for a very long time. And then they came out again in the plastic on their own for the first time in like 10-15 years. So to them, these Deathcopters are new Deathcopters. I think Orcs is a bad choice to put in a launch box, personally. I think everything that you guys are listing right now fine to do as part of a codex release. I don't think it's I don't think it's worthy of a faction of a launch box. Also, that will then be 3 editions in a row where Xenos are the bad guys. And that's kind of lame to me. Like, give Chaos a chance, you know? And I'm not saying Chaos Space Marines. I had a conversation with Joe last night, and he said, wouldn't it be awesome if it was Iron Warriors? And Iron Warriors get their own faction, right? In the same way that World Eaters, Emperor's Children, not Word Bearers, Death Guard, and Thousand Sons of Had. Iron Warriors get their own faction, and they get their own specific Iron Warriors units, and then that's how you also bring in Perturabo as like a banner miniature for the year in his Demon Primarch form. Oh, give me strength. That would be wonderful. And to be fair, for any of the other legions, the same thing. If you did that for Night Lords, if you did that for Alpha Legion, if you did that for Word Bearers, it'd be pretty sick. Be pretty sick. That would be wonderful to see. That's what I want the bad guys of the next edition to be Chaos. I know the Tyranids was supposed to be the big bad of this edition, and it turned out they weren't. But I would like there to be a chaos thing. I've said in the past that, like, the thing I would really love to see for 11th edition is a brand new Chaos faction, which is 11th edition. It's the Lost and the Damned, it's the Mortals, it's the Cultists, it's the Beastmen, it's the Undivided Demons, it's the Demon Engines, it's all of this kind of thing. It's the Traitor Guard, that sort of thing. I'd love to see that happen. That would be that's like my ideal thing to see happen. That it's whatever it is, Space Marines versus brand new faction not seen before. That would be sick. But it won't be. Space Rats? Yeah, sure. Put it in. Just a non-marine Chaos faction. That'd be perfect. That for me, that would be chef's kiss. That would be perfection on a plate. Will it be? No, but that would be the best thing ever. I'd love to see that. More than anything else. As I've said before many times, I don't really care for the endless remastering. I like new stuff. So, yeah, that's why, like, even when I said earlier that, like, if they're gonna remaster a faction, it should be Drukhari. I'm like, yeah, that's a no-brainer when it comes to what needs to be remastered. Do I want that? No. But, like, that is something that I want. Even as Mike says there, Dark Mechanicus. That's a thing. If Dark Mechanicus is their own thing and not just the AdMech range with upgrade sprues for spikes to be added. You see what I mean? That for me is, that's what I want for 11th edition. But for tonight, I think tonight we're basically just going to see the Red Corsairs. That's going to be the headline thing. We're going to see everything that's going to be released alongside Huron. Now, my question for all of you is, do we think that is a range bigger than just Huron and the Wardens of Huron? Or do we think that that's just going to be... Is that it? Because, I mean, it would be interesting if we also got Red Corsair Space Marines. You know, like Pirate Legionnaires, whatever they're gonna call them. That would be rad. But yeah, I think I suspect deep within my soul that they're literally it. They are part of the next book, and it's Huron and his friends, and then they're going to be opposite, possibly 2 characters. In the same way that we've literally just had Wardens of Ultramar, the Nightbringer, and Necrosaur Amentar for 500 Worlds. That is what we're having for the next book. For sure. For sure. That there's no doubt in my mind that is what we're having. Pirate cultists. Yes! Cultists in pirate hats. I'm so here for that. Bring back the whimsy to 40k. Now! Heresy Custodes. That would be interesting. Plastic Custodes from the Horus Heresy range is, I think, fairly monumental. It's just, it's just like, yeah, okay, cool. The only thing I would temper one's expectations about that sort of thing is if they do make Adeptus Custodes plastic. So if they make like the Telemon, the Galatus, if they make all of that plastic, it's not going to be in 40k for much longer. Is what I would suggest. Remember when they said all of that plastic stuff was coming for Horus Heresy, like the Leviathan Dreadnought, and then ripped it away from 40k? I'd be nervous if I were you Custodes fans. I'd be nervous. Literally, just look, we study history, for we are doomed to repeat it. So yeah. I think if you see plastic Adrosite spears, plastic, what they called, Heteron Guard, what the Terminators called, the big ones. I don't think you're going to see them in 40k, basically. I would not be investing in anything Forge World right now. I think you're fine if it comes to Old World, MESBG, Blood Bowl, Necromunda. I think the Horus Heresy is a real goal. It is a real minefield. Kurnothi. That's a good shout for Age of Sigmar. That is a good shot. That is a good shout. I don't think it's likely, but it is a good shout. It's because the reason why I don't think the Age of Sigmar reveal is going to be a big deal, which is why I don't think Ossiarch Bone Reapers with multiple units is going to be revealed. The reason I don't think that is because Maggotkin has just happened, like 2 weeks ago, if that. It'll be 2 weeks tomorrow. So if you ordered Maggotkin 2 weeks ago, your stuff should be turning up this week, or obviously next week or this weekend, which is exciting news for Maggotkin and Nurgle fans. Which is why I don't think you're going to see a massive thing for Age of Sigmar. I think we're going to see one battle tome. I would love it if it was Cities of Sigmar, but on the other hand, I would be like, oh, that's sad. They're going to get basically like a wizard. Would be what I would assume. Oh, that looks like a Vampire Count's Blood Bowl team. Or High Elves. Horus Heresy are getting a tank. Yay! Oh, dear me. Right, I need to go and find the stream. Where should we watch it today, guys? Should we watch it on YouTube? Yeah, why not? Let me get rid of that. And let me do that. And let's sort out our stream. Overhead. Window capture. We want it to be that. Ugh, too big. That should be fine. Can you guys see that okay? Does that look alright? Or should I move it onto the other monitor? Maybe if I put it over here. Yeah, that does look a bit better, doesn't it? It's a bit brighter. It's the stupid HDR features of the monitor, which I've never been able to figure out how to make look better. That should look better. First option was better. You preferred it when it was darker. Plastic Mastodon for Heresy. Oh, good lord. Ugh. This view is better. Right, okay. Cool. Before you resized it. Oh, I see. I think, yeah, that does look a bit better, doesn't it? Alright, cool. A plastic mastodon, man, that would be interesting. A new Horticulus Slimux model would be cool. He's not that old, though. He came out in Blight War, which is a name I didn't think I still had locked in my brain, but I do. Blight War was the box that had Neve Black Talon and Horticulus Slimux in it. A long time ago. The original Knight Zephyros version of Neve Black Talon. Before they replaced her with the much better The Black Talons. But then they also got rid of the Zephyros. So you can't have a non-Neve Knight Zephyros, which is a bit of a shame. But there we go. Is what it is. Plastic Warhound. Oh, that would upset me. I mean, it wouldn't upset me. I've already done one, but like, it would upset me. Good evening, Mark. Chat, can we get 50 likes on the stream? We're on 44 likes and there's 145 people watching. If we get 50 likes on the stream, I'll keep my clothes on. Seems like a weird threat. Because of the way the back end works, it went from 44 to 65 immediately. Oh god, no. Oh god. That was very funny. Very funny. Oh, dear. But thank you for watching. Choosing this stream to watch of the 148 people who are currently watching along live. The stream goes live in 8 minutes. You've got 8 minutes to drop your predictions, your wish list, your desires, your worries, your fears. All of that. About Warhammer specifically. I think they will reveal a brand new model. Do you think, McFeelys? A brand new model. Ooh, I don't know. I think they might just reveal a bunch of old ones, to be honest. A bunch of old models. Can you imagine? That would be the funniest troll. Hey guys, welcome. We've got some great news for you. We've got new combat patrols with nothing new in them. We've got new spearheads with nothing new in them. We've got some reissues of some old hardback novels. That's exciting. And yeah, we're gonna put I don't know, we'll put something back on sale that's not been on sale for a while. There's a new we're putting Gwai here back on sale. The Wind Lord. Oh. We'd love them to announce a new wave of contrast paints. Oh God, Grey Wolf, don't tempt me. Don't tempt me, Frodo. Don't get my hopes up. They're going to reveal technical difficulties. Hey guys, welcome to the preview. We've got for you technical difficulties. None of our microphones work, and we broke the only lens we have for the camera. Pritters, thank you very much for the 1 gifted membership. That's very kind of you. Thank you very much. What am I doing wrong? There we go. Got it. A Darkwater expansion. Oh. Oh. Now that would be lovely. That would be lovely. Imagine if they put Festus the Leech Lord into Darkwater. Where's he going to fit on the board? Festus does not move, but he takes up 15 hexes. What colours are even left for doing contrast, though? Slightly browner Cygor brown. There's actually quite a few gaps in the range. So one would be in the red column. You have Blood Angels red, Flesh Tearers red, and Baal red. Those are your 3 reds. However, having a slightly brighter bordering on orange red would be quite nice. But then also having one that's darker than Flesh Tearers red. Almost maroon. That kind of thing. That is an example. Is a red that's missing. When it comes to like flesh paints, there's some gaps there. Of course, I think they could do 2 or 3 more flesh paints that are, you know, explore other skin colors than Dark Oath, Gilliman, and Fireslayer flesh. There's that. What else is there? Orange. Another orange. So Gryph-hound orange is fine. Magmadroth flame is fine. But like they don't have like a burnt orange, you know. That's that sort of thing. For grey as well, there's Basilicanum grey is fine. Rattling grime is fine. Space Wolves grey is fine, and Gryph Charger grey is fine, but what they don't have is a Mechanicus Standard grey / Dawnstone equivalent. Basilicanum grey is close, but it's not quite there. So actually having like a single pigment grey that lets you do basically a Mechanicus standard grey prime in the same way that Black Legion lets you do effectively a Chaos Black prime. That would be something that would be really welcome. There's not huge gaps in the contrast range by any stretch of the imagination, but there are gaps. So something like a Galvorback Red equivalent. Exactly. A Galvorback Red equivalent, or like even a Khorne Red equivalent. You know, there isn't... Flesh Terror's Red is not Khorne Red. It's not. Rakarth Flesh, yes, that's a great shout. Incubi Darkness, yes, also a great shout. I think there's also scope for 2 more single pigment contrast paints in the form of a green and a blue. Because Imperial Fist, Baal Red, Black Legion, they're fantastic paints. So having a blue version and a green version of those would be spectacular. Would be very, 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 very good. They don't have a good pink contrast. Again, another example of something that is essentially Emperor's Children pink. The only way we've been able to get Emperor's Children pink is by thinning down Volupus pink. Doomfire Magenta and Volupus pink are good paints for many things, but they're not good for that. Because if you have to thin it down to get the right pink, it means that there's a gap, essentially. And I also think that there's scope for a number of contrast paints that are similar to Pilar Glacier, in terms of how weak they are, but how they can act as just like a little filter. Because Pilar Glacier is not a particularly strong blue at all, but like having like a green that's similar to that, which would be effectively something that would give you Gorse Blaster green, if you see what I mean. That would be another one. Am I the only one wanting metallic contrast? You're not the only one wanting metallic contrast. The only thing with metallic paints in contrast format is if they are still semi-translucent, it means you have to correct things before you can apply them. And often, that's annoying. When it comes... If you're painting like if you're painting a standard intercessor in something that isn't a predominantly metallic scheme, picture having to relayer all the tiny little bits of the bolt gun to then apply the metallic contrast. That's 2 layers when you should just use the metallic base and layer paint at that point. Which is why I think it's like a metallic contrast paint is fine if you're going to do like a gold, a silver. Because you're going to do something like Hammers of Sigmar, gold, for example. But when you get into the realms of these are components of the larger thing, it's actually just much quicker to use the base and layer paint in the first place. Which is why, like, the metallic speed paints don't fit into my workflow. That is the reason why. I would like a red version of Pilar Glacier to add extra warmth into skin shadows. Yeah, there you go. See? There's loads of gaps. This range is incomplete. It's terrible. Burn my channel to the ground. I was thinking more of like Iron Warriors. I mean, how easy it would be with Lead Belcher contrast. Yeah, but that is a great example. Kit Bash Chronicles. Something like an Iron Warriors army with a metallic contrast for that is perfect in that situation. Oh, they're live. Oh, surprise Eddie and Adam.
You all here.
Yeah, we've got some very cool Warhammer reveals for you on the way in this preview. We have some Warhammer 40,000, some Warhammer Age of Sigmar, a little bit of Horus Heresy, some new animation to have a look at, and some Blood Bowl. So it is a packed preview with a little bit of something from every corner of Warhammer.
Fantastic. We're joined by loads of you already in the chat on both YouTube and on Twitch. Thank you for coming and spending some time with us. We're going to wait a while before we jump into the first preview so that people can continue to flood in. And it's always nice to do a little bit of, welcoming and greeting everybody. It's nice to know where you're all from. So if you wouldn't mind just punching into the chat if you're in Twitch, we'll be following along. We've got some people monitoring the questions and making sure that Eddie and I get...
Let's just mute them for the minute. They've got SM7Bs right there. That's what those are. That's the Mac Daddy of microphones. It's a microphone I would like to have for my... what are they talking about?
For Kill Team. And I've Dark Angels them up. You can see there, because they come in blue plastic.
Right. Adam's just updating us on his hobby progress, so cool. It's like every podcast ever. So that's good. We're here to talk about the New Year's preview and all the new stuff that's coming out. But before that, let me show you some Space Marines I built. Oh. Yep, cool. Cool. Yep. There we go. It'll be at least 5 to 10 minutes of where are you tuning in from. Oh yeah, I mean, they always do that. SM7B's main mic on the Thriller album. I love mine. It's a great mic. It's a fantastic mic. It's a microphone I want to get. I haven't gotten one.
A sense of where you're all tuning in from. We're seeing we've got people tuning in from Spain and...
Cool. Hello to everybody in Spain. It's a mic that I want to get. It's just I haven't had the cash. And when we move, my intention is to take this current microphone. This is a Rode NT1, and I have another Rode NT1 which you can't see, but it's over there. I'm going to use them as a coincidental pair in the room for when we do the battle report stuff. So above the table, coincidental pair crossed over. It's a little trick I learned in my music technology days, which you technically should do as directional condenser mics rather than dynamic mics, but these these are condensers anyway because they require phantom power, but like these have got a wider diaphragm, but it works really well because it's how we recorded some albums when I did my degree. So that's the plan, but it's like, why buy the mic now? Let's see.
Hour and a quarter or
Something
so.
like
It
that,
just
yeah.
depends how fast we talk and how much stuff there is to show, and there is a lot. We've already told people what we're going to show. We've already done the introductions. People know how to ask questions. I think it might be time to go to
start.
our first reveal.
Here we
Let's go to the grim darkness of the Dark Millennium.
Oh, there we go. Straight away. Oh, there is one. Oh, no, there isn't. What are we looking at? Turn that down. You can see it redlining. Alright, so 2 battle forces. And here on Blackheart.
What a way to kick off the preview show with incredible releases, all themed around the Maelstrom.
They're not all new.
How do we even start with this?
This is a fairly sizable release for Warhammer 40,000, and 2 armies are getting a lot of new plastic miniatures. Chaos Space Marines and the forces of the Eldari. If we start on the diabolically heretical side of things, this is Huron Blackheart and the Masters of the Maelstrom. We knew, of course, that Huron Blackheart was on his way.
Nice.
We suspected there might have been some other Corsair-looking things along with him, but we can now
And
reveal
they're already
that he is
sold
on
out.
his way as part of
Yeah.
a character box set, not unlike the Titus box set we saw released over recent weeks. And it is a phenomenal set of miniatures, starring, of course, Huron Blackheart. We've seen this guy before a little bit, but just a reminder for those of you who might not have seen him already.
It's always nice to look at the Tyrant of Adab, the master
a very
of the Red
pretty
Corsairs.
miniature.
There he is with his little demonic helper, the Hammer Dryer, and he's showing what happens when you go on the wrong side of a melter gun, signed courtesy of Captain Andocles of the Star Phantoms chapter. He doesn't come alone. As
very
you
pretty
mentioned,
miniature.
there is a swathe of interesting characters in his retinue. Why don't we take a look at some of those? First up,
Who else is here?
would be Geryon, the
Yep, we've
Corpse
seen him.
Master. He's the Lord
I
Apothecary
really
of
like
the Red
this miniature.
Corsairs. He was the apothecary.
I just like how
in
insane
the
it
Astral
is.
Clause, the chapter that was, and he's
Just
part
kind of
of
sinister.
Huron's, machinations to sort of play about with their gene seed and evade.
The eyes are going to be really
time,
annoying to
which
do
is
because
the
he's
whole
looking straight
problem
down.
that kicked off
So
the
getting
Fourth
that
Quadrant
perspective
Rebellion
is going to
in
be
the
annoying.
first place.
Because you
And
need
the
that.
rest
You
is
see the
history.
white
Well,
of the eyes
exactly
around
so.
the top.
So some fun stuff about how he plays in games. Obviously, he is kind of not really got the best
Gary the
interest
Corpse
at heart
Master.
of, the
Like
Red
it.
Corsairs
I
that he
like
battles
it.
alongside. You can see a Red Corsair on the base there, probably.
Clutching the apron awkwardly.
Yeah, he's not going to get the medical attention that he's
Converting
particularly
all
looking
of them
for.
into Night
He
Lords.
has a special rule basically where if a Red Corsair unit
Nice.
near him is at half strength, he can have a command point because he's harvesting the
Put a
GP,
helmet
that's
on
what he's
him.
looking for.
No,
He
it's
can
such
also
a
bring
lovely
models back
face.
into the unit.
Why hide
that,
it? It's
he is
beautiful.
in. So Huron and his.
Also, then he'll
retinue
just
are
be
a little
looking
modular.
straight
Not the
forwards.
battlefield medic that the Red Corsairs might want, but definitely the one they deserve. Next up in line is Qatar Garrix, who is
Nice.
the headsman of the Red Corsairs. This is Huron Blackheart's personal executioner, and he comes appropriately
Nice.
enough from the Executioner's chapter, one of those
Nice and
chapters
simple to paint.
swept up in the Fourth Quadrant
Red and
Rebellion
black?
and part of the
Well,
Balad
black
War.
and red, really.
He signed on permanently with Huron Blackheart.
That is a wooden
after
axe
the
handle
events
as well.
of
You don't see that
and
very
now
often.
serves- It's kind of like a warning to any Red
wooden
Corsairs
axe
that might want to
handle in
step out of
40K.
line. His presence on the bridge of a vessel
That's very cool.
will quell even the smallest rumour of insurrection.
Yeah, I think if you turn up with the heads of the previous 7 people who had insurrections, that certainly sends a message, doesn't it?
Why are they doing this thing where they just go?
No massive surprises that he is very good at killing enemy characters.
Is the back of the
He has
miniature
precision
not
and
painted?
Anti-character on his weapons, which is pretty cool.
Nice. And he just looks incredible, really grim and foreboding character, and enough heads to...
Looks
send
a little
message
bit
to
like the
anybody
back
who
of the
wants to
model
hear
isn't
it.
painted.
Next up in this retinue, and if you had
Oh.
Mantis Warriors in 2026 on your bingo card, congratulations. This is Garlon Soul Eater, who was once a Mantis Warriors librarian. He has signed up with the Red Corsairs, and he is known as the Tyrant's Witch, a
He's very
formidable psyker, now a Chaos Sorcerer, and he uses his powers to sort of corrupt the minds of those around him.
That'll be
There's
fun to paint.
stories of him sort of turning the crews of gun
This is
decks
where that
against the
Incubi
allies and,
Darkness,
firing some of those,
Incubi Darkness
supposedly
contrast
friendly
paint would be
ships.
really
And
useful.
He's kind of like Huron's spy master and manipulates all of the sort of schemes around.
Probably
There's
get
a lot of
that
schemes
with,
if you're a pirate to keep track of.
Well, I
aren't there?
imagine
This
so,
show
right?
helps you out.
Pterodon turquoise
He's also got a really
and
cool
some
helmet,
thin
and
down black
rumour is he
Templar
hasn't
over the
taken it
top.
off for more than a decade, and maybe
get
he's
reasonably
hideously
close to that.
mutated underneath.
Could be. He's got some really tasty rules in Warhammer 40,000 as well. He has a precision psychic attack that is d6 plus 1 damage, which means you can basically pick out enemy characters in units and
Cool.
just take them out, basically mind wrench them out of reality.
Fantastic. Yeah, another great Space Marine, Chaos Space Marine, I suppose, within Huron's retinue. The next model is Immortal, and is the captain of the Reign of Spite. This is Captain Sargota. She was once a Imperial Navy commander from the Solar Segmentum fleet.
that's just
incredibly well
spectacular.
placed within the noble houses, long lineage and dynasty behind her. She was politically outmaneuvered.
Everything about that miniature.
While she was convalescing, sort of her position and station.
Everything about that miniature
In
is
revenge, she
wonderful.
essentially orchestrated the handover of an entire naval dockyard and its ships and crews to a pirate fleet. I wonder whose.
Very piratey.
Exactly, and now she serves on one of the
I wonder if the back of
biggest
this one's
battle
painted.
cruisers in Huron's fleet, where she
Nope.
oversees a lot of his operations. She also joins the battlefield sometimes, which is why she's on this command air.
You wanted
I
new
think
stuff.
this is my
Exactly.
favourite model from this box set.
It's really good.
It's really, really fun. It's like a nice characterful
Do you know,
diorama
when they,
piece.
when they,
The
when they
thing that
don't
she's
just
floating
redesign
around
old
on
miniatures
actually is
and they
something
give
that
you
she
a brand
uses
new
during
thing,
boarding,
it always looks better
of
than the
enemy ships.
redesigned
So
version
it's
of the old
effectively like a
one.
mobile command dais, but she can plug it into the
That
command
is a
stations of enemy ships
spectacular
once they've been
miniature.
boarded to take it over.
Yeah.
So she's
Captain
all in
Sargota.
pirate.
You can imagine all the mechadendrites underneath. You can imagine them slotting into all the ports in a
will
funded
say
ship, and then suddenly
that,
all of those data slates behind her come
painting
alive
this
with all
one-
the information you need to essentially steal an entire battle.
This is not going to be as easy as Titus and the Wardens of Ultramar. It's going to be like a 1 by 1 by 1 by 1 by the looks of things.
Next one, maybe even stranger, and a lot of people have been trying to guess what this means. They've looked
I
at
don't
the
think
silhouette.
anyone guessed right.
Yeah,
If
absolutely.
you did, well done.
This is a Tyrellian dog soldier known as the Enforcer. She is essentially the
Love it. Love it.
warrior that Huron sends out to hunt down those who would dissent against him, and maybe there's people naysaying his leadership
Love it.
or reneging on deals. And so the Enforcer hunts them down relentlessly. She'll go as far
Love
as
it.
it takes to do so, and she takes
Love
with
it.
her plunder, which is the
A Tyrellian dog
canine-ish,
soldier.
canid-looking creature. That is, if you were wondering, an
Oh, it's so
adolescent
cool.
Barghisi. If the term Barghisi is familiar to you, that's because in Warhammer 40,000 there's a thing called the hyperviolent
It's very
Barghisi,
different,
which has appeared a couple of times in our lore.
to almost
This is what they
everything
look
else
like
we see in
before they are
40K,
big enough to
but-
be called the hyperviolent. When she first met it,
It's
it
very
bit
nice.
her arm off, which is why she's got that unusual bionic sort of fist thing that you can see there. Now it serves essentially as a little hunter-killer. But she has to keep an eye on it because they're
every model is a Necromunda model.
Really rapid growth, and eventually it will become too big to manage.
New faction confirmed.
Rumors of Barghisi like devastating entire spaceports, like run rife. So she will eventually have to take it to the Warhammer 40,000 equivalent of the Woodshed.
Or the space farm.
Oh yeah, we're a happy ending for everybody in the grim darkness of the far future.
I
think what this miniature does, in terms of like telling you about the story of Huron and the Maelstrom itself, is indicating that not only have you got like renegade Chaos Space Marines and humans, you also have alien pirates and bounty hunters and all the kind of ne'er-do-wells and piratical forces from the whole region gravitating towards the Maelstrom.
Expanding
so
the
universe, not just about Chaos Space Marines.
Gaps in
he
the
is
way
the
that
master of this enormous pirate empire within the Maelstrom.
Absolutely, yeah. The forces at his disposal are vast, and if you want to resist the sort of oppressive regime, as they would call it, of the Imperium or other places, then the Maelstrom might be the place for you. And I'm sure he's a very kind-hearted leader. Speaking
really
of
Huron
Blackheart, he does not come alone. The Masters of the Maelstrom are joined by this box set. Everything you see here comes in a big box called the Lords of the Maelstrom, and is essentially the heart of a Red Corsairs army. It's got loads of great models in it, including some brand new ones. Let's take you through what you can see in here.
Yeah, so some of these miniatures, all of these miniatures will eventually be available separately. Some of these are old miniatures with upgrade kits. Some of them are brand new miniatures. These are Raiders. They are a brand new miniature set. These are effectively the elite of the Red Corsairs. They sit somewhere between Legionaries and Chosen in terms of power and hierarchy. Yep. And they are the veterans of the Badab Wars.
Really
and the
nice red.
Different conflicts within the Maelstrom. As far as in-game, they are a really useful little unit. They have infiltrate. They have 3 wounds each. They have
different
a really
reds
going
on here.
Stat line, and they've also got things like melter guns and power fists and stuff that you can put in.
For a minute, I
really
thought these were
all-round unit.
I thought they were an upgrade kit to the Emperor's Children.
Personification of what it means to be a renegade Chaos Space Marine. You're existing outside of the structures of the these mighty Space Marine legions.
I like it.
So a lot of their war gear looks scavenged, and the plate armor and so on is sort of cobbled together.
Dope.
They've got lots of trappings on them from
Favorite
various
new
battles
pose?
and enemies that they fought. It's really quite exciting to see these.
Lots of them have got like pelts of wild animals, or coarse hair, as I like to call it.
Oh, very good, very good. There's more within this box set. Next up, you can see the Chaos Terminator squad.
That's an upgrade.
These are the Chaos Terminators that you already know and love if you're a Chaos Space Marine player.
Yeah.
The difference here being they have new sculpted detail shoulder pads, which are included within this box set.
Yeah.
So essentially, you can just tailor them to look like Red Corsairs. Obviously, Chaos Terminators are fantastically useful if you're living your life via the medium.
I've got 5 Chaos Terminators.
There's quite a lot of Chaos
throw
Terminators
into a
that
Red
show
Corsairs
up in
army.
The Red Corsair Black Library stories as well.
Yeah,
so this is very thematic for them to have. I think they look great in red and black as well.
It's a really striking colour scheme.
It's a good colour scheme.
Yeah, absolutely. Similarly, you have the Legionaries. This is the same kit that you might be used to from the other Chaos Space Marine Legions. And again, there's upgrades that tailor them towards looking like Red Corsairs. So you've got these fantastic Red Corsair shoulder pads.
There's an upgrade sprue for Chaos Space Marines.
We'll show what they look like in a moment. But you've got like heads and some
there's like ammo belts, aren't there, and trophies and that
there
sort
you
of
go.
stuff.
I like it.
That is the whole upgrade kit. So you can see there, you've got the Terminator shoulder pads, you've got the shoulder pads that fit Legionaries, but they'll also fit anything in that kind of like side of armor.
T84, thank you very much for the $20 super chat.
Some really cool
just given up on painting before finding your channel. Now I love it. Thank you for all you do. No, thank you. That's very kind of you. Thank you.
And things that have
thank you very much.
Iconography on it. You can do that too.
Yeah, what you get with this transfer sheet is way more than you need to do just the models that come in the set. So if
I'm so glad I could help.
Build a big Red Corsairs force, well, you'll be able to. Right, that was all pretty exciting, but it's not done. There's also the Traitor Guardsmen. These are the exact Traitor Guardsmen you know and love. They're just in red and working for the Red Corsairs, and they kind of exemplify all of those people that flock to Huron's banner and sort of try and survive outside of the restrictions of the Astra Militarum and the Imperium at large.
So there's Raiders and upgrades.
We've got one more miniature,
and
I think.
Huron.
Yeah, and so bringing up the rear is actually my favourite model out of this launch. I think the Reeve Captain really just hits home on what it means to be a renegade Chaos Space Marine. just a fantastic model.
Oh,
He's a multi-pilot
wow.
kit, but the one right in the centre is the one that really gets me.
That's
Loads of
very
detail, loads of
pretty.
plunder. He's picked up bits and pieces from lots of battles, and he just looks incredible. And he's quite good in the game, right?
Yeah, so there's loads of options
I
on
like
the kit to
that
start
a
with.
lot.
So this is a multi-part plastic kit. You've got a choice of 2 different combat weapons. They've got different stats in the game. You've got a sword and you've got a mace. You can have a plasma pistol if you want him to have, or you can have a bolt pistol. He is
I like
a very
that
good
a lot.
addition to your
That's
army.
got
He
some
is a
serious,
three
like,
captain,
heft to
so I
it.
suppose might indicate that he's either maybe a
That's got some
veteran
heft
of
to it.
the Astral Claws, maybe one of the previous captains, or maybe someone who's risen through the ranks of the Red Corsairs.
He's
since.
very pretty.
So he is somewhere thereabouts of Chaos Lord level in terms of his abilities. He is a little bit
Delicious.
less fighty than a Chaos
Delicious.
Lord, but he brings more to the table in terms of abilities that you can give to your unit. He has Infiltrate, which means that he's a great addition to some of those Red Corsair squads we talked about before.
Are they
so
getting
he
their
can be
own
right up in
book?
the enemy's face early on in
Do
the
we
game.
think?
He can also
Surely not with
give you loads
3
of abilities when you
units.
charge into close combat, and you've got lots of stuff across the Chaos Space Marine Codex that allows you to have things like run and charge, so
Oh,
they stack
very
really nicely
pretty.
with those.
Very
so
pretty
you can
in
get
that.
an
Very,
extra point of
very
strength,
pretty.
an extra point of AP,
They
and
haven't painted the
re-rolling
back
charges
again,
with
though.
this guy on that unit, which
Best
might be
Blood
infiltrating
Angels
right
ever.
up in your enemy's face, which is a pretty
Flesh
tasty little
tearers,
combo.
please.
Nice.
And worth saying as well, with all of the stuff that we've just talked through there, you can absolutely do this as a Red Corsairs army if you want. If you want to go all in for Huron Blackheart and go with the red and black of that force, you can. Or you can add these into any other Chaos Space Marine army. So if you've got an existing Black Legion
Okay.
army and you want to
That's
sprinkle a
cool.
little bit of Red Corsairs into it, or team them up with the Alpha Legion, you can absolutely do that.
Perfect. We are not even halfway done with the stuff for this Maelstrom section.
Yeah, come on.
We've talked about Huron and the Red Corsairs in that video
Got
that we
some
saw
more
at the beginning.
Eldar.
We saw
That's only
another
half the
force.
pirates we have.
Exactly. So let's go and look at Prince Iriel and his Eldritch Raiders. So,
Yay!
A little bit of a lore dump for you if you're unaware. Prince Iriel is a renowned
What have we
Eldari
got?
hero. He is the saviour of Craftworld Ianden when it was under attack from the Hive fleets of the
That's
Tyranids,
very, very nice.
And really solidified his sort of place in legend. But the thing he loves is to range across the galaxy, reaving and at the head of this army, the Eldritch Raiders. This is a
Reaving
box
and
set.
what, Adam?
Everything you see on here is included within it, and we'll take you through.
I know
and
what
have
you
a quick
wanted
look
to
at
say
all of
there.
those things. First out the gates are the Corsair Sky Reavers.
Yeah, so this is a really useful little unit for Corsairs. You can include the
Here's the thing. Last year, the year before, they did the Phoenix Lords, and it was bad content for the channel. It wasn't very popular videos. This is what should have come out at the same time.
But you've also got the option to include quite a lot of different special weapons in the unit. So if you want to make them anti-infantry, you've got things like shredders and flamers. If you want to make them anti-tank, you can put fusion guns and stuff like that in the unit. And they've got a lot of movement abilities. They come with scout, deep strike, and a reactive move ability as standard, which means they can be
See what
very
I mean?
hard to pin
Drakari?
out. So they've got a phenomenal kind of objective game.
Yeah, they really play into that sort of hit and withdraw aspect
Yes.
of the Eldritch Raiders that makes them famous. They're also a lovely callback to some very classic Rogue Trader era artwork. If you're of a certain vintage like
so
me,
pretty.
You'll recognise it, and it feels quite nice to see that sort of imagery making it into the modern Warhammer 40,000 tabletop. In a similar vein, in terms of the flexibility and the way they fight, there's another unit within this set. You'll be familiar with them if you've maybe
That's a
played Kill
redo.
Team
That's-
over the last few
we've
years.
had those
These are
before.
the Corsair Void Reavers. So it's the same kit returned, and they'll be in this Eldritch Raiders box. Tell us about
Yep.
Void Reavers, if you would.
Yeah, so the Corsair Void Reavers are your kind of line Corsair infantry. That's a really flexible kit. You can build them as either
So
a
these
kind of
are
battle line version
two
or an
things I
elite
can
version.
really get on
They
board
have
with for
loads of
Chaos
different
Space
weapon
Marines and
options.
Eldar.
So they're one of the
Really,
most
really,
flexible
really
kits
can.
in Warhammer 40,000 in terms of the different range of stuff you can give them. You can make them very anti-infantry or very anti-character or very good at shooting or combat or taking out tanks or whatever you need, really.
Nice.
The bits in the kit are really interchangeable with the other new Corsair stuff that's on its way as well. So it was already a really flexible unit.
Other
and
new
now it's
Corsair
even
stuff?
more flexible in terms of how you can build it. And if you are a fan of kind of kit bashing stuff together, this is a dream, this box.
Yeah, absolutely. To lead these all into battle, there are two heroes within the Eldritch Raiders set, the first of which is Karseth. Karseth is a Void Dreamer. What is
I
a
like
Void
that
Dreamer, I
model a
hear you
lot.
ask? Well, a Void Dreamer is a type of Eldar Seer. And,
looks
Karseth
like-
specialises in being able to sense the subtle fluctuations
It looks
in
a
the
bit
fabric of
like,
reality. So
the
one
eyes
of the
are
gifts that
very,
Karseth has is to detect warp
gas
translations.
masky,
Imagine
which is
that
very
you
cool.
come out of the warp with your fleet and you're straight into the gun sights of the Eldritch Raiders sat waiting for you. That's
It
quite
is
the
giving a
boon
bit
for,
of
Iriel and his
Black
team.
Manta vibes.
Also, Karseth Karseth specifically coordinates the efforts of the
From
traders,
Aquaman.
making sure they're all like working in synchronicity and firing together. You can imagine them
It's a little bit.
speaking into the minds of the warriors and making sure that everybody's all on the same page.
Yeah, so a really useful unit in game terms as well. This is an Eldar Psyker and comes with a ranged psychic attack.
Oh, you
like
my
Psychic
mummy.
Storm style
Very
thing.
good. Very
But
good,
the reason
very
that
good
they really
reference.
pop is the special rules that come with them. One of them is the ever useful ability to stop enemy units deploying within 12, so they can see the future, you can never catch them off guard sort of thing. That's great to put on your backfield objective or to just screen out large portions of the battlefield to stop
That
things
cloak
like
looks impressive.
Corsair Terminators teleporting
exactly
behind
so.
you. That's not a thing that would be good for you. The other ability that they have is
Single
if you manage
piece,
to hit an enemy
maybe?
unit with their psychic attack,
That would be nice.
all the rest of the Corsairs that fire into that unit hit with an extra point of strength. So it's a really good
40k is
synergistic
eating
unit
well
to
today,
help the rest of
honestly.
your Corsairs hit even harder.
Perfect. And of course, they are led by none other than Prince Iriel. Prince Iriel is the outcast Prince of Iandon, and he's returned now with his Corsair fleet to deliver his craftwell from annihilation once again by leading an army.
That is a
into
very
the
Drakari-coded helmet.
He's equipped with the Spear of Twilight, a very famous weapon. It's extremely dangerous. He's on his eye. That bionic is called the Eye of Wrath.
Right?
It's
I'm
powerful in its
not-
own right. And he is a devastating combat leader as well as an actual leader of warriors.
I'm not imagining that.
Yeah, so a really, a phenomenal miniature, right? Like it looks really cool. It's definitely a great glow up. But it's still very recognisably the Prince Uriel that we know and love. In game terms, he makes a phenomenal either leader
Very
for a
good.
Corsair army, or you can put him into a standard Craft World force, and he has a very useful ability to redeploy some of your units
it
before
time
the game
to
starts. And he also
Yeah.
has some boosts to whatever unit he's joined. So just a really good all-round leader and a combat stat line that punches.
What a great time to
upwards of
live
the
in
best of the
if
Eldar heroes. He's got a really nice damage 3 weapon,
we
which
can
is
just do
the sweet
pirates
spot for
versus
killing a lot of
pirates.
It really
the
is.
best units in Warhammer 40,000 these days.
It's a form of
so he
gentlemanly
can,
warfare, I'm sure.
Rough and tumble with the best of them, really.
And he's got two
guard
banners,
versus
and
guard.
banners are the best. So he's
But that's
got
how
two
you
of them.
know he's good, right?
Yeah,
Because it
right.
comes with 2 banners.
So, obviously, the other thing that you might have seen in that video and in the army shot that we saw was this. This is the Starfang.
A new
It is an
vehicle.
a Eldari unit which is designed to go alongside the Corsair raiders as they fight. It's pretty good in its own right. Eddie, can you talk us through it?
I absolutely
I like
can.
it.
So this is
That
a
marking
really
looks like
useful
hell
little
to me.
utility unit. So first and foremost, it has a fairly respectable amount of firepower. Its firepower is geared to killing heavy infantry level stuff. So AP3, strength 6, 2 damage stuff. So it's a Space Marine killer in terms of its damage output. There's a disintegrator.
What a shock. AP -3, damage 2, strength 6. Who'd have thought?
Is it can make one of your infantry units have stealth. So its grenade launchers can basically like cover the.
You're
one
being a
infantry unit
bitch,
in,
Josh. Well, what can I
kind of
say?
cover and give them effectively makes them harder to hit, which is really useful because a lot of your army is going to be quite fragile.
Nice. One of the things that's really exciting about this is it is a twofer kit, as we sometimes call them. Essentially, the kit that's in the box, and eventually it will be available separately, also makes the Viper, which I believe is actually the name that the box will live under. This is a classic Eldari vehicle, which has been around for 30 years or more.
I think it's longer than 30 years.
Oh, you've aged me terribly. Yeah, this is a classic.
That's
light attack
interesting.
Vehicle.
That is
two
interesting
crew,
what that
it's
could
got
possibly
turret
mean.
on the back. And it's got a range of weapons
Because
available.
the Viper jet,
Yeah, so
the
this
Viper
is
jetpack
the
has
updated
needed to
Viper.
be
It will be
dealt
recognisable
with.
to anybody who's had a Viper in their army. It still retains a lot of the key features that you'll recognise, but
It's very
some of the
sleek,
weapon
isn't it?
options are a little bit more flexible than they used to be. It still has the option of things like shuriken cannon. You can have
I could see the Wave Serpent getting this treatment now. I thought it was very unlikely, but I could see it happening.
Eldar missile launcher on it, so that gives you the potential to make it quite a good anti-tank unit. You can put 2 of these in a unit, so you can imagine 2 Bright
Interesting.
Lancers, 2 Eldar missile launchers shooting into something becomes quite formidable. Or you can get it out for pretty good anti-infantry with shuriken cannons and star cannons and that sort of thing.
Yeah, so here we got a really good look at it in person on the desk. It is a fantastic looking kit. It's got that classic silhouette that you expect. If you build it the right way, the turret has some play, so you can manoeuvre a little. This is an heavy metal painted one, and I don't want to get in trouble,
touch it,
so I'm
really.
not going to fiddle with it too enthusiastically. And then, I guess
That's
the
very
major difference is the sort of the positioning of the turrets and the way they work. It's
The back is painted on these ones,
fantastic, sort of innovation on a very classic design. The Viper's been with us for a long time. and
Yeah, I mean
feels
the current
like a-
the current Viper model is lovely, but it's definitely
Absolutely.
showing its age a little bit around the edges. So the crispness on the detail on this, some of the
Maybe the Wave
posabilities of
Serpent
weapons
does
and
get
that sort
done.
of thing. The engines,
If they're doing the Viper jetbike, does that mean there's a possibility for the Rhino as well?
an Eldari army.
inside the cockpit's detailed, so you can paint that and then seal the canopy in with the sort of like transparent plastic. And you've got options for the crew. This one with the Starfang has sort of crew that look more sort of Corsair oriented, and then you've got the classic sort of craftboard helmets on the Viper, but you can mix and match as you see fit.
Can we seal them in entirely with red glass?
Where do you learn about all of these exciting Corsairs, both the Red Corsairs and the Eldritch Raiders? Well,
would it be in a book?
Of course, we need a book for that. And here we
go.
Oh,
look at that.
This is the succinctly named Warhammer 40,000, the Maelstrom, Lair of the Tyrant, into the Nightmare Realm. If you are familiar with Titus, which just released, I think, this is a very similar idea. So it's
I love that typeface.
Detail
it's very
all of the
piratical.
Events that we've talked about and the characters and things, and some brilliant new and exciting
for the Maelstrom, as it's written.
Yeah, so there's quite a lot to go through here. Just like the 500 Worlds books we've just seen released, there's loads of good stuff in here. Lair of the Tyrant is your lore book, so this dives into the history and environments and all the locations within the Maelstrom in a level of detail that we've never seen before. We find out about the key planets.
I came
within
for the
region,
preview, but stayed for the learning.
In control of the various different battles that are ongoing. It's definitely not a unified
what are we
empire,
learning?
right? There are lots of factions all playing for their part and trying to carve out their little pirate empires within the Maelstrom. It also tells you all about the Red Corsairs and particularly
which goes for the red
Huron's bodyguard and his retinue. That
my instinct is actually my instinct is to go for something like Baal red and then shade it with Flesh Tearers red. Is my instinct for that red. And you can make it darker or brighter by adding... Not brighter, you can make it darker in some places by adding something like Berserker Bloodshade or Carabur Crimson over the top of it if you wanted to make it a bit more patchwork.
Because he's a Dark Angels company master normally. But you can sort of get different war gear and different special rules and all of that stuff to make really exciting and unique characters and then use them in your games, which is great.
Lair of the Tyrant detachments, as you might have guessed, has some detachments in. So one of the things that's worth saying about this book is, much like will happen with the 500 Worlds Titus book, all of the rules that are for match play will also be made available online and in the Warhammer 40,000 app, but you can also find them in print in Lair of the Tyrant, and there's some new detachments for Chaos Space Marines, as you'd imagine, and for Eldari. So one of those detachments allows you, for example, to make a very heavily Corsair-themed Eldari.
You'd probably get reasonably close to Corn Red.
Campaigns,
you'd be far away.
Things like ship-to-ship actions and stuff, so really exciting. Right, so this is not the only stuff that we've got to talk about with regards to the Maelstrom. We also have some new battalions. There's two of these. The first one is the Drukhari battalion, and is packed full of, let's be honest, raiders who are looking
They love piracy. They
Yep.
were kind of the original Eldar pirates, the Drukhari here, and this is a very heavily witch-themed box. So if you're looking to start
the
a Drukhari
typeface
army,
on battalion Drukhari looks weird.
This is a great place to start.
It includes a succubus, 2 venoms, 3 reavers, 5 hellions, and 10 witches. So loads of that witch-themed stuff that you were referring to before, and a really good bedrock for a new Drukhari army, or just the reinforcements if you're already deep into that collection.
Yeah, maybe.
There's another one. This is the Leagues of Votan battalion, and that includes the Memnir strategist and 6 Ironkin Steeljacks for them to control and get the best out of, and then 3 Hernkin Pioneers to sort of range ahead of the army and scout ahead. And again, ideal for exploring the Maelstrom and bolstering
multiple Ironkin Steeljacks, lovely.
And kind of a nod as well, that a lot of the lore in this Maelstrom book is relevant to a big chunk of Warhammer 40,000.
I do like
them. There are loads of people
within
the Maelstrom all trying to carve out little mini empires. There's Orc freebooters and Drukhari and Leagues of Votan and all sorts of stuff.
And there's opportunities in there. It's like it's sort of untested
for those
space.
with the will to claim it.
Exactly so. Fantastic. So we have been keeping an eye on some questions, and I've got some that I will just quickly fire out here.
If these campaigns sell really good, will they postpone 11th Dead?
Will
No. They do this every year.
Or will we condemned to a character box?
Psychic Awakening.
Huron is in the character box in the same way.
Arcs of Omen.
So there's 2 big boxes coming out initially for the Red Corsairs. One of them is the Red Corsairs Army, which is the Reeve captain leading a force of Red Corsairs, and the other one is Huron and his bodyguard. Everything
this is just to lead us in to the next.
The big battalion box will be available separately, but I think for the moment Huron's staying with his retinue.
Yeah, absolutely. The next one is, can Huron's retinue join another unit?
I
think it's a unit in its own right and operates independently. So that is a good question.
I don't think so.
The Wardens of Ultramar can, Eddie.
A question, I think, regarding the Viper from Jocked 4020. is the turret interchangeable? I think if you built it carefully, you might be able to interchange the weapons, but I think once you've built the turret, that's your lot. So
I haven't built it, so I don't know for sure. You could certainly have a go.
Yeah, absolutely. Keep your questions coming in. We'll try and answer some as we go through.
Can it be magnetised?
One last one from Afexipe. If I've said your name wrong, I apologise. And your question is, which factions can be played in the Maelstrom campaign? Absolutely loads of them. There's an enormous list which I won't go through, but it includes things like Blood Angels, Dark Angels, Space Wolves, Orcs, Freeboots would be great in there. Loads of things. The idea is that you can get involved and have good fun. So if you want to explore the Maelstrom and this terribly violent, chaotic environment, this would be a really good opportunity.
I'm quite sure that we will list the factions that you can use on Warhammer Community.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you can decide for yourself. I think it's almost everything in Warhammer 40,000.
Yeah, I would be surprised if we've left somebody out, to be honest. Perfect. Thank you very much. We should press on.
Age of Sigmar.
There is a little bit more Warhammer 40,000 later on as well.
Yeah, that's fair to say. We are about to go to the Mortal Realms, but there's more Warhammer 40,000 later. But let's go to the Mortal Realms now.
That'll be the teaser for 11th.
My lord.
Oh, there we go.
Yes. You can't just solve
I was wrong.
all of our problems by increasing the bone tithe. The hell I can't.
This music's dope. More tech. Oh, they're getting a significant jump. It's more than one thing. A chariot? A new chariot? 2 new chariots. Okay. Normally I feel like I'm spot on with these previews, but I will hold that. Yeah, fair enough. I got that wrong. That can't be
Armies
soon.
of the Bone Tithe received some much desired reinforcements with this huge glut of models for the Ossiarch Bone Reapers. Eddie, let's talk about what we saw, I guess.
Yeah, so this is a fairly large drop of new miniatures for the Ossiarch Bone Reapers. A lot of these units fill a really nice niche in the army that players have been looking forward to for a long time. If we start with the Mortex,
you mean it covers the weakness of the army, which is something they probably shouldn't do constantly for these codexes, but they do it anyway.
Underworld's Warband.
Canaan's Hunters, I think.
Absolutely, and I think way back then people were speculating. Of course, Nagash didn't make just one bow, right? That would be a really strange thing to have done. He did, in fact, make loads of bows, and he's given it to his phalanxes, and now you can have entire units of bowmen in your Ossiarch Bone Reapers army, and that does some really fun stuff for you in terms of how you might approach building an army.
There's not
you can
a lot
now
of
make a
skeleton
very
horde there.
shooty death army, which has never really been an option before. You can imagine loads of these backed up by your Mortek crawlers and things.
Yep.
You can absolutely
Skeleton horde, though, is a paint that I do generally tend to have to buy quite often.
They've got some really tasty rules in game.
So.
They've got a very respectable damage output with 2 shots each and a point of rend in there. And one of the things to watch on them is those little braziers that follow the unit around.
Yeah, these are my favourite guys.
Well, I can finally expand my Ossiarch Bone Reapers collection from the Mortazan Ossifector, and that's it.
What happens is if you fire the whole unit at one enemy, once you're done, you place one of these Balefire Braziers on that unit.
Is that a bone pigeon?
And that has
it
a few
certainly
effects.
looks
The
to be.
most significant from my point of view is that that unit, while it's got that token on, can't heal wounds or get models back. And so instead you take that token off. And I rely as my Stormcast counterplayer on repairing damage to my
having
unit.
the bird
So
is very reminiscent of Lumineth Realm-lords.
Looking fantastic with those shrieking faces.
Because that's the same thing. That it's
Yeah,
Throwing a
the models
bird
are very
forward.
cool as well. I like the kind of one eye look that they've got as well. So obviously Nagash
Got like
forges.
a bonus eye in their forehead.
Yeah, well, but it's maybe not quite where you'd expect it to be. Maybe it's like right at the top of where you'd hold an arrow.
That
I
is
don't know
an
if it makes you
interesting
better
design
at shooting an
element.
arrow,
I don't
but
quite like that.
I don't know. Who knows,
don't
right? So, but anyway, they're quite good at shooting. You'll definitely see some in Ossiarch armies, and you can do some very fun stuff with your.
Yeah, absolutely. Next up is another infantry unit for the army. These are the Mortis Reapers. They are dread assassins from the Realm of Death, and they use
They're
their Reaper
really
blades
cool.
to butcher the enemy, specifically enemy heroes.
Yes, so this is a very useful unit for taking on enemy heroes.
They're
and kind of
very,
those
very,
little isolated,
very cool.
useful units like wizards and priests and stuff like that. They've got two things that help them out with that. They've got anti-hero on all of their
Skeleton
weapons.
assassins.
They also have the ability to effectively teleport through pieces of terrain.
I'm into that.
So you can
I'm
move
seriously
towards a
into
terrain
that.
feature. You can pick the unit up and you can redeploy it on the other side of that terrain feature. So you can catch out enemies that are trying to hide behind cover.
Well, it's a
and things
favourite
like that.
tactic, right? You know,
Yeah.
parked behind a piece of terrain and think you're safe, and these guys burst out the other side. side. That's quite nasty.
Undead Assassins, yeah, no, I like
fantastic
that.
in terms of imagery. This is a very different look and feel to what we expect from the Ossiarch Bone Reapers, who are normally quite regimented and sort of militaristic.
Yeah, they used to sort of frowned upon within some of the Ossiarch circles, isn't it? Some of the,
it's not quite the way it should be done.
It doesn't seem like it's fair. Like they are all about rules, aren't they?
But their boss makes the calls. So
that's true. That's true. Yeah. He's the boss.
So, to lead these new infantry models into combat, we have a new hero. This is a Liege Mortex.
He's beautiful.
A good, solid battle line leader to accompany the troops. And he has some good abilities.
I don't know why, but he feels very
first and foremost, he
TTRPG
is useful to have an
coded.
infantry hero. You can use him to wander around with your infantry phalanxes. He has a particularly cool little ability, which is that if he is in combat with an enemy unit and you activate him to fight, another
like
unit nearby can fight or shoot into the same
bit
combat.
like a Dark Souls boss in some
+1 to
ways.
their hit rolls if they do.
Like
that stacks really nicely with that.
a tutorial
archer
boss that
unit,
you fought
because
face that
effectively you can
kills
charge in
you
with
the
this
first
guy,
time to
and then
teach you
they
how
back him up with a rain of
ruinously
arrows
difficult the
game
as
is
he
to
slams
do.
into the enemy forces.
But
So
actually
quite
it's
kind of
pretty easy
thematic
once you
look.
figure it
He
out.
also stacks really nicely with your phalanxes of spearmen and line infantry within the Ossiarch. So just a really solid,
Like the
dependable
new
hero
colour
to
scheme
bring them
better
in.
than the old
If you're
studio
going for
scheme.
Mortec Garden track,
It feels
crawlers,
easier to
you
paint,
want a
for
couple of
sure.
these
It doesn't
to
have
keep
that
everything
reflective
operating at
quality in the
maximum
middle of
efficiency,
each of the
I think.
plates. It's
+1
just edge
bonus on
highlighted,
those,
which
to hit rolls
actually
is really going to be great.
opens the faction up to be a lot
Speaking
more
of heroes, we also saw the
enticing
Liege
to
Cavalos on War Chariot. I feel like this is like something that Nagash
Very
dreamed
nice.
and recalled
Undead
from the world
Sekiro.
that was, back from ancient Nehekara with their, they were renowned for their chariots, and here we see a nightmare vision brought to the mortal realms.
I hate it. I want to paint
amazing.
all of these, but I know I'd never get to
Ossiarchs
it or
are
do
very
them
much
justice.
Nagash's idea of an ideal army. So
You might be able
obviously
to do it, your
twisted
mail.
through the filter of the god of death.
Look at my
but these
sword.
are
Behold,
very powerful
my
units
stuff.
in the game. There's two versions of this kit. There's one that you can make into a hero chariot, and there's also a kind of standard chariot. The hero chariot is a really, really durable unit. They both are, but the hero one has 12 wounds,
That's a lot of
3
killing.
up
It'd be
save
a
and a ward
delicious
save.
nightmare to
So
paint.
even without being fast and having lots of other
That
abilities,
might be one of those
he's
ones
just
where
really
I
hard to
finally
kill and get
concede
rid
that
of.
maybe occasionally you should
But
do your
he
sub-assembly.
stacks really nicely if you send him in alongside some chariots, because he's got some abilities that let them kind
That's
of
got the reflective
grind
nature
into the
midway
enemy
along the plate.
units, even after
Not
they've
as
charged in and done all that
bold
kind of
as it
damage
is
and
on the
impact hits and stuff.
current
You can
scheme,
keep
but
just doing
it's
stacks
got
and
it
stacks
and
and stacks
see
of
it.
mortal wounds into enemy units.
Yeah, the idea here, I think, will generally be hammer and anvil strike, right? You use your undying legions to hold the enemy on the anvil and then just smash them away with the hammer of the cavalry units. And
Yeah, I
Ossiarch
think all the
Underworld's
stuff coming out for
Warband
Ossiarch
incoming.
just gives them loads of new options.
yeah,
Because I think
totally.
there's been a couple of ways to play Ossiarch for a little while now. But
Sir,
now
your
you've
Uber
got
has
opened up a
arrived.
whole swathe of new things, right? So you could imagine
Like it.
armies that leaned really heavily into chariots and had death riders and stuff accompanying them.
Yeah.
You can imagine armies that
GW
leaned
will
really
send
heavily
you
into
this stuff for
shooting.
sure.
A
You never know,
combined
they might
arms
not.
list now
It's up
looks
to
really
them.
tasty.
They
So
don't
there's
send me
loads of
everything.
stuff, that just opens up a new toolbox
They
of
just,
stuff for Ossiarch
they
armies.
send whatever they want.
Absolutely. What if you want to do something completely different? Well, we're releasing the Null Myriad Phalanx. This is the personal army of Arkan the Black, and it's an army of renown. So if you want to take an Ossiarch Bone Reapers army with a slightly
that
different
Spearhead?
feel, essentially you
Army
don't
of Renown
have
box.
access to all of the units you would
Okay.
normally do, but you get some distinct bonuses.
4 more guards,
Essentially, Arkan
20
and
guard.
the wizards that accompany him get bonuses to make their spellcasting more effective and
decent
even
start,
better.
to be
And the
honest.
whole army gets some arcane protection. To
It's
sort
not
of,
only
reduce
archers
the,
though, is it?
incoming magic that would come your way. And it's super thematic. Arkan's like one of the top wizards.
That is a lot
Yeah,
for
he's
a
also
regiment
been
of
part of
renown
Warhammer
box.
for
A very
I
long
think
time.
40 plus years.
What was
at
the
this
last
point.
one that came out?
But if
There
this
was
is,
one
if you like
for
magic and you like
the
Ossiarch and you want
was
to
it
just
called
go
the Pustules
all in
for
for magic,
Magic?
this is
Which
one
had,
of the ways that you can.
Spoilpox Scrivener, a tree, and 10 plate bearers in it, something like that.
A good start to that too. There's another box set on
There
their
is,
way as well.
So here we have the Heralds of the Bone Tithe, which is a regiment of renown for them.
Yeah, so effectively this means that you can put some of your Ossiarch units into any other death force. So if you have something like a Soulblight Gravelord's army, or a Nighthaunt army, or a Flesh Eater Court's army, you can send some of Nagash's tax collectors along with your force, so that when the battle has finished, they can go around the battlefield and gather up the bones of the fallen. There's some really nice little abilities in this unit. He's got a spell that means that if
That's
you
a
cast it
box
onto
I
an
like.
enemy unit,
That is a
they
box
have
that
to
I
use
could
a
be on.
command point
I
if
would
they want
definitely
to
be on
fight,
board with
which
of
is
them doing
really
a lot
nasty.
more.
really, really good. You've got to get it cast. You've got to get it cast. Your opponent will know you're trying to do it. But there is a potentially game-winning little move in there.
Even if it's like a
enemy
limited
unit from
run,
fighting because they've run out of
it's
command
basically
points.
a discount.
Or make
on
them
the
use a
miniatures.
valuable command point when they don't want to.
Just to do something that
Just to do
for
and
free,
they
right?
normally do.
Just
That's,
doing that more
anything
often,
that
I
you
think,
can
is really
force
cool.
your opponent to
I would
have to
love
use
to
stuff they don't want
see,
to.
It feels like a really thematic use
I
of
would
box.
love to see Regiments of Renown come into 40k in 11th edition, where they do the same thing. They throw in this sort of thing. I don't think it'll happen, but I would love to see it happen.
And taxes in this box is
true.
both of them. Speaking of death, this is the Death Battle Tome Ossiarch Bone Reapers. It contains everything you would expect to find in a battle tome. So this is full of brilliant lore about
Rules,
Bone Reapers,
background,
who they are and how
pictures.
they fight, as well as all of the rules for everything.
No, it has no
we've
pictures.
Talked about. They've got a really interesting new rule available to the army, which is Relentless Discipline. I'm just touching it very briefly, but there's like a new little widget attached. You know, the profile circle that you
That
get.
would be very
and
funny.
The heroes essentially get Relentless Discipline points, which they can spend. So the Liege
cool.
Mortec, this little guy here, gets 5.
I genuinely am surprised
and they
by
can spend those
that.
throughout the game to gain some extra abilities.
Surely they're not
really
next. That's a
exciting.
lot
I've
of
not
Age of Sigmar
collected any
coming
Ossiarch
soon.
Bone Reapers before, and as I was sort of deep diving into this ahead of this preview, I got quite
Painting
excited
guides.
at the possibilities and the weird combos.
They
you can
sort
do.
of
Very
put a
exciting.
painting guide
Yeah, so
in there
you've got
these
things
days.
that basically help you out in every phase. You've got things that
Absolutely.
make you better at fighting or slightly more durable and things like that. And one of the things you want to do when you're putting your army together is go, how many heroes do I want so that I've got the right amount of tools and of these points to
This
spend
always
on my
makes me
units.
laugh when they
So,
do this bit, right?
It definitely
Like-
rewards someone with a...
I'm not an expert, but this shot that they have with the camera, it always looks fine. This one, I don't know what it is, but it always looks like the frame rate just takes a dive. So I feel like this is like one of those like web chat cameras that you have in like conference rooms, and the other one is like a mirrorless SLR or something. But like this one always just feels like it's like a conference camera, like 10 Veo or something like that. It's so weird. It's like, why not just have another one of those?
various headdresses and things.
And I think you could probably do some quite interesting things in terms of.
I'm not an expert,
They can
but-
do multiples of either. As
I mean, that's what Nagash is doing.
It's-
Really. He's
it's
just getting all the
a vibe.
bones in a
Just
big
keep
pile and
bashing,
building
yeah.
his own thing, right? You too could be a Lord of Death.
Perfect. Right. That is not it for the Mortal Realms, however. We have another battle tome to show you that is
More
coming
Age
out
of
fairly
Sigmar.
soon. This is the Chaos Battle Tome, Disciples of Tzeentch.
What, there you go.
And,
One
as
character?
you might expect, it contains everything you need to know about the followers of the Changer of Ways and all of his armies.
Magickin
that
have
are
just had a big
responsible.
thing. I'd be shocked
And
if
it's
there's
not
more
just
than
a
one
book,
character.
that's coming out. We are also
There you go.
accompanying it with a new miniature, which is the Fate Master. Eddie, what can you tell us about this?
Yes,
Foot
the
hero
Fate Master
time.
is the general
Exactly.
of the mortal armies of Tzeentch. Of course, they are a wizard because
That's
almost
very
everybody who
nice.
follows Tzeentch is in some way or shape or form a wizard.
Is that
but
a
primarily,
metallic?
they are leading things like your Kyrek acolytes and things like that into
Mm-hmm.
battle.
God damn it.
Because this is a Tzeentchian general, they don't really play fair. So a lot of their tricks and things that they bring to the battlefield are less about winning in a straight fight and more about deceiving your opponent. So
It's a
you can
really
use
nice
some of their
colour that
abilities
they've got
to
on there. That
move
does
your
feel
own units
metallic,
around
doesn't
the
it?
battlefield. When the enemy comes within range to try and charge your units, all of a sudden
Oh, but
they're
it
not
doesn't
there
look
anymore, they're
metallic
actually on
there.
the flank, and you can engineer some very advantageous.
looks like
combats.
Stegadon
So they
scale
are
green
a
there.
great little unit. They are still a Chaos Lord, and they still fight in combat very effectively. But it's the tricks and the strategic positioning stuff they bring to your army that makes them really pop in your games.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's a new terrain piece for these, which is just fantastic. This is the thing I'm most excited about for the
terrain piece?
Disciples of Tzeentch. These are the Argent Shards. Just fantastic embodiment of like the weirdness of Tzeentch, right? When you look at these and sort of the
Is
magic
that a terrain
swirling
piece,
around
or
them.
is that a manifestation?
There's a story being told by this model, which is
I
born
mean,
out by the
technically
rules
terrain
and the
pieces
lore.
are
Essentially, you see
manifestations,
the one
but
on
is
the
that
left
an
on the
endless
screen sort of being
spell?
torn apart.
That looks like an endless spell to
These
me.
drift around the battlefield. They're really useful. We'll talk more about that in a moment. But if one is destroyed, if you don't get them both, the other one will
They look like
split
they'll
and
be fun to
essentially make
paint.
a new one. And so that you see it splitting apart. That's really part of its own story. It's just great.
Yeah, so they've got two abilities, effectively. One of them is that if one of them is on the battlefield, you can immediately make another one in your hero phase. And if you've got them on the battlefield,
I can't
you
tell
can
if those
reposition
eyes
them
are
as well. And
sculpted
the reason
or
you might
if
want to
they're
reposition them
free-handed
is
on.
that your wizards can use
The
them to
eyeball
channel
itself
their
will be
magic
sculpted,
through.
but
So
I can't
if
tell
you're
if
close to one of
the,
these and you're a Tzeentchian wizard, and you've probably got loads of Tzeentchian wizards if you've got a Tzeentch army, because that's kind of the whole army, you can use these to cast your spells further than you otherwise could. And if you're playing against them, you can't get rid of them
maybe not.
unless you kill both of them at the same
see.
time. We've got them on the table here, so you get a sense of the scale. So again, this is a fairly large infantry model. That's like larger than the
massive.
Kernel there. So they're fairly big pieces of terrain, and they go back to that kind of classic Tzeentchian idea of the Silver Towers of Tzeentch, which has been part of their lore for
they
kind
don't
of
look
time
like
immemorial.
terrain.
This is a little nod to that.
Yeah,
They look
absolutely. You can
like
see these
endless
cropping up
spells.
in like
Fine.
any
The terrain.
Oh yeah, we were talking
Elden
before
Ring Magna
about
size.
if you've got
Yeah.
something like 1,000
Second
suns
Dark
army,
Souls
and you're
reference.
building some scenery or something.
The
you
Fate
can imagine
Master looks a bit
having
like a
these
Dark
mixed
Souls
in amongst
character
them
as
so
well.
that your battlefield look as Tzeentchian as possible.
Yeah, absolutely. And that is not it in terms of battle tomes forthcoming for the Mortal Realms. There is another one,
battle
almost
tomes.
equally magical.
A
as well.
third battle
These are,
tome?
of course, the Order battle tome for the Lumineth Realm-lords. Again, everything you'd expect from a battle tome, updated.
What are they
with,
getting?
fantastic
Hero
new
time?
lore and all of the rules and things you will need to play your games. The Lumineth Realm-lords.
I
army rules
really
had a
need to
shake-up,
bulk
which
out
is
my
quite
Lumineth,
exciting. Amy and I were
offering
talking with the team from the Warhammer
the
studio all about
channel.
that. And
so many
we
units
don't
I wanna
possibly have
paint.
time to go into all of those details here
I've got
today,
them all.
but we'll be covering it as we get closer on warhammercommunity.com. There's also a new model for them. The Lumineth Realm-lords have been really well served with battlefield wizards, but maybe not as many sort of frontline fighting
He's
heroes. So this
pretty.
is a Venari Lord Regent.
Yeah, so the Lord Regent effectively leads your
I
infantry
like
phalanxes into battle. They are a very competent fighter. They're an elven lord, so they've got a very respectable combat stat line. But the real thing they bring
I'm a
to the
fan.
battle
I'm
are
a
two
fan of
special
that.
rules in terms of your game. One of them means that nearby Lumineth units, when they rally, because they are a shining example
Hopefully
to
they don't
their
get
people,
anything else.
you get
They
to roll
shouldn't need
extra dice
anything
into that,
else.
which is
They've
really
got
useful if you're trying to
endless
bring back your
spells.
models,
They've
especially when they
got
cost so many
faction
points for
terrain.
Lumineth. So every elf that joins your force is very worthwhile. The other thing they do,
There
if
are-
you put them alongside a unit of your wardens, which are your big kind of
nice.
spear phalanx,
absolutely.
they can
a nice colour
basically
scheme.
have the phalanx advance into enemy units and cause a
There's
whole
two
bunch
other
of mortal
temples
wounds. So your
to them
big
to-
scary block of
one
spearmen
other
becomes
temple.
even
There's a
scarier.
Driving
water
forward
temple.
that
There's one with the
spear
river
line.
blades. in
So
it,
your spearmen can not
to
only do
explore.
mortal wounds when they fight, they can also just do it passively by existing and pushing forward into the enemy force.
Yeah.
Fantastic. You've seen on the
Oh, he's
screen now that
gorgeous.
the kit has some variants. You can build it in a couple of ways or mix and match between. Maybe get some spares. And we've got them actually on the desk in front of us if you want to have a look.
We put the helmet on.
The thing
Was
that I
he always
like about
carrying the
the
helmet?
sort of the difference in.
Oh, yeah, no,
is
you can put the
you
helmet
can see
on.
this one's got like a little amphora on his back, and then this one obviously has got this sort of double banner. Very catchy.
Two back banners definitely in this season, isn't it?
Oh, I tell you what. Banners are back, it seems.
I like it.
Back. That's
I
good.
like it.
So there we go. I
want ogres.
Again, just a great hero
sure you'll
for
get
your Lumineth Realm-lords. We've got some questions they've been flooding in.
It's only January.
Do my best.
Actually, the first question really hits near my heart. It says from Prime Chatmandu. It says, "Do you ever get nervous when you're touching Evermore miniatures?" Let me tell you, I am terrified every time I touch Evermore miniatures.
Cool. All right, 3 battle tomes. That's a significant chunk of. If that's like first quarter, usually when they preview stuff like this, you'll see it in the next like 3 to 4 months. So that's a lot of Age of Sigmar dropping before 11th edition. Because we're 16 days into the new year, so that is a lot of stuff. That is a lot of stuff. I mean, when Age of Sigmar is next year, 2027. So they've got to get a wriggle on getting it all out there, but because 5th edition is on its way, but believe it or not.
Chariot and the Sunstealer Wheeler got into a race. Who would die first?
Oh,
Well, I would argue that the Ossiarch Bone Reaper is already dead.
I think the Sunstealer Wheeler is faster, probably, but it's tortoise and hare, isn't it? You probably get bored about halfway through the race and
He's
stop.
never going to outlast the dead, is he?
No, probably not.
Perfect. Look, that was all a bit of fun. Thank you for keeping
All
the
right,
questions
Age
coming
of
in.
Darkness. Come on.
We're going to go now from the Mortal Realms to a very unusual place, which is the Gridiron, as we keep the theme
we're going Blood
of
Bowl.
elves, and we go to Blood Bowl. So, time for us to talk a little bit
They don't
about
get a
the
video.
latest Blood Bowl team to
They get a
approach the
PowerPoint.
Gridiron. These are the Calador Dragons, and I got
Who
some
was it who
things
said
to
they
say.
would just build high elves?
This is a
You
classic
guessed
Blood Bowl
it.
team which has been
they're
around
sick.
for a very long time, and now it is redone and updated in plastic for the modern era. Season 3 of Blood Bowl launched just recently, and I'm really excited for these. I think might be the last.
I
of the
really want to
classic
play
teams
Blood
we're
Bowl. I've
waiting
got
to
my
see.
teams. You can see them. They're up here.
Anyway,
But you can't
if
see
you
them
know
on
the
the camera
Calador
as it
Dragons,
is
you
right
might
now.
know what to expect. But they have 4 positionals, and each of them fills a very specific role within
2
the
teams
Blood
are
Bowl game. So the first up is the Dragon Princes. So they are essentially the show stealers of the.
Wonder if ogres are going to be the
Gridiron
starting
for the
faction
Calador
for
Dragons.
11th edition.
Incredibly
That
skilled
would
players.
be
They've got
interesting.
fantastic stat line. They have great
The Ogre
rules
War
as
tribes
well.
got lost on their way
initial
to
block,
Azir,
which you'd
and
expect,
they ended
because
up in the
these guys
41st
kind of fill the
millennium.
role of a blitzer. But they also have steady footing, 6+, and you don't get knocked down, so you can use that against
Those helmets would
any
block
of
enemy
the
throws.
circumstances which might come up.
I think they
They
block
also,
friendly flows
are
throws
penalised
as
by a
well.
little rule which is known as my ball, which means they can never give the ball
How many
away
players
no
would a
matter what.
Custodes
Don't like
Blood
sharing.
Bowl team have?
So the trick
Probably
with this
still
is to
10.
burst through the enemy pitch, get down the
6.
field,
And
and
everyone
then get the
has
ball
6.
to this guy. So he doesn't have to give it away. He can just go and score a touchdown instead. Next up, we have the White Lions. The
6 to 8,
High Elf
something
team
like
is a little bit different to some in that it doesn't really have a catcher
I think
archetype.
the Tomb
Instead,
Kings have
you've got the White
7 'cause
Lions,
there's
which
14,
are another
I think,
blitzer
14
almost.
models.
They don't have block, but they do have wrestle, which is a very good skill to make sure that you don't get stuck with a turnover if a tackle goes weird and you both get knocked down.
If you're both lying down.
Oh, lying down, my word. The claw is not just symbolic. They have
building
the
and basing
claws
my first
special
Blood
rule.
Bowl team.
And what
Yeah,
that
I did that
means
this year,
is that they
obviously.
never need
No,
more
not
than
this
an
year,
8+
last year,
to bust
with
the
the Tomb
armor
Kings
when
and
you're
the
making the
Bretonnians.
armor roll, having successfully
still
like,
haven't
hit
played the
somebody.
game.
That's really useful. The third of the sort of skilled positionals.
Did they show the Tzeentch
Phoenix
Regiment
Warriors,
of Renowned Spearhead and Battle
the Phoenix
Force?
Warrior
They did
really fills the role
not.
of
Is there
catcher,
one?
thrower, and this is one of the best throwers on the Blood Bowl pitch, like of any team. Fantastic stat line, really,
Is
really
there
great
more
at making sure the
things?
ball goes where you need it. So they have those throwing skills that you would expect. Also, they have Cloud
there
Burst,
is.
which is so
Bloody
good.
hell.
Essentially, Cloud Burst gives you a real advantage in that when you lob that ball, the enemy can't make intercept rolls against you. So imagine
didn't show the
your
Lumineth
Dragon
one either.
Prince has burst through, he's far down the field, you just one nice clean lob shot all the way down the pitch.
If you're interested,
and,
you can head
nobody
to
can catch it.
Warhammer
It's
Community,
great.
and there's
What I
more
love about
stuff
all of these
available.
miniatures is that they look like the Blood Bowl incarnations of the classic
Absolutely so,
old
right?
world units, so like the Phoenix Guard, the White
These are
Lions,
these
the
are
Dragon
painted
Princes. They just,
spectacularly
like, look
well.
exactly
I know
like
that
those
sounds like a
short.
strange
Yeah,
thing
exactly.
to say,
So
but
there's
these
lots
are
of,
painted
like, calves and,
spectacularly well.
thighs on display, but
this was a
otherwise
real
it
labour
is
of love
just
for someone.
pure Blood Bowl fun. Right,
So
this is the fourth
all of those
position.
colours are really
They're the
rich.
High Elf linemen. In some
So
ways,
clean
the linemen
painted.
are
Yeah,
like
yeah,
the boring
the-
part of the Blood Bowl team, but High Elf linemen are really good. Right, let's not.
I'm
beat
not
around
saying
the bush.
Games Workshop ever
They've got
phones
great
it in.
stat
They
lines,
don't, of course they
they've got
don't.
these-
But you can tell somebody was painting these with just like utmost love, care, and attention because of how much they love them. You could really see it in the paint job.
Don't get a massive team. You know, I started my Blood Bowl time
It's
playing
definitely
with
an
halflings.
elite finesse.
look at that.
Team,
Yeah,
isn't it?
and so you've got to get everything like acting in the way it's supposed to, and I guess
It's
you need
really,
some of the
really
heavy
well
lifting
done.
in terms of maybe making tackles or throws or catches themselves. The kit also contains, crikey, I've talked a lot here. It also contains the balls, the turn and reroll markers, and everything that you would expect for you to mark in play.
Sure.
And there'll be a Spike journal that comes out alongside all of this when it releases, which is full of all of the stories and the lore behind it, and information about different High Elf teams and all of that good stuff.
And dice and a pitch and all that jazz as well.
Yeah, I think you talked a little bit about how they key into sort of the classic imagery of the High Elves. I think one of the things that I really like is that that bleeds into the rules in a way. The Dragon Prince is extremely arrot.
They're like your shock
The-
troops that
Exactly.
go up the
and
middle.
the White
That
Lion,
Battle Force,
they were
Iliath
monster
and
hunters traditionally,
Warhost
right?
has me
And so
tempted.
that,
So
that
if the
claw
enemy's got
rule-
a troll, you're like,
Exactly.
you're going down troll.
That claw rule lets them go in and bust open.
It is very
and
nice.
Chaos Warrior armor or whatever it might be. Yeah, really, really great. Very exciting to see these finally reach the gridiron. And there we go. That is your Blood Bowl section. Pretty
Very nice
exciting.
indeed.
Coming to a pitch near you. Next up, he says, we have a little bit of an animation clip to show some people.
Yeah,
No time for
absolutely.
questions.
So,
We've got to
next
show
up,
something
we
for the Horus
have
Heresy.
a new clip from Penitence, which is the new Warhammer 40,000 animation on its way for Warhammer Plus very soon. Here are the first 2 minutes of that show.
2 minutes? 2 minutes? See, now we're just definitely going to get copyright here, you know? I've got to talk all the way through this to not get funny copyright here. Or just mute it. I mean,
For too long,
we could do that.
Vision 4 has been bereft of the Emperor's light. Like so much of our benighted Imperium, it clings on. A candle
I also want to hear it.
in darkness. Our
Can you
vision
hum? I
is
could.
of sacred importance. The enshrinement of our fallen Canoness Rexilla. She will be a beacon, a rising call to the
I like
faith.
it. Sounds like a Space Marine 2 mission.
She will mark Vision 4 as a shrine world. The Emperor's flock will come, and with them, new hope. The foulness of the orcs shall be driven from
I like that
this
everyone
place.
just looks confused as to why they're doing it.
Risk everything for this. We will not fail, for to do less would be to fall short of what our Emperor demands. By fire and faith.
So now I am just... Harvest Lighter. Harvest Lighter confirmed for the Adeptus Sororitas. In 11th edition. I have a question. Why were the orcs all just milling around like they didn't know what was happening? And yet, what just shot the Harvest Lighter? The Harvest Lighter. That's a great one. Was that 2 minutes? Again, very...
Eddie, that was awesome. What can you tell us about Penitence?
Yes, this is a new animation on its way for Warhammer Plus. This is an
That
Adeptus
music.
Sororitas animation featuring the Order of the Sacred Rose, which is I think we haven't seen before.
That music is fully coded to Fable.
New Shrine World. They have a sacred relic, and they have to get it to the Shrine World. Obviously, the mission doesn't quite go to plan. As you
Baldur's
saw there,
Gate.
their ship is intercepted
Baldur's
by
Gate
some orcs
3.
and downed, and then they have to trudge across this wasteland to get their relic to where it needs to go.
We
The
are
orcs in this are
sisters
snakebite
of
orcs,
battle.
which is pretty cool. We haven't really seen snakebite orcs in animation before. Snakebites, of course, famous for bringing along gribbly squiggly beasts with them, and I can confirm there is a squig in this animation.
Nice. So we get both a cyber cherub and a squig in Penitence.
Absolutely spoiled, yeah.
Living the dream. When does it arrive?
Cool.
So this is on its way in February. The first episode, it will be a 3-part animation with the first one landing in February, so not very long to wait at all.
Fantastic. So if you are not familiar with Warhammer TV, it's
When did this
available
kick off?
through the Warhammer Plus
7:30?
subscription, and it gives you access to loads of animations. And
We're now coming up on
shows
an
that are made by
hour,
the team in-house
and
gaming.
normally
and
they're
lore and
done
that sort
by
of thing.
now, so there's still
if
quite
you
a bit to
watch
go.
this as it comes out, make sure you get yourself a subscription and join in. It's going to be great.
Exactly that.
Nice one. Right. So there were some questions in the Blood Bowl section that I got hold of late, and my favourite question was Custodes when?
Okay.
Well, I'd like
More questions. I cannot wait to legally stream that show on Warhammer Plus. It's a great statement. Oh, God. Sorry. Oh my. That's not plastic custodians. Okay. Oh, good lord.
so excited by everything that we just saw there. We have the forces of the Legio
at that.
Custodes for the Horus Heresy. Everything in that video we're going to talk about. Let's start with what you can see on the screen right now.
So this is a box, isn't it, Adam? It's a brand new box.
This is the Legio Custodes battle group, and this is coming out as part of the launch. Everything in this is a new plastic miniature, and it just looks incredible. You've got 2 sodalities of custodians, you've got a dreadnought, a shield captain, and a grav tank. Let's talk about those in detail. These, of course, are the custodian guard sodality, Eddie.
They look
This is
so
a
much
custodian
better.
guard sodality. They are the
Okay, ones.
archetypal image of a custodian. They are towering guardians, each one with a guardian spear,
Oh, for
able
God's
to
sake.
chop the enemy up in close combat and blast them apart at range. They are a brand new plastic kit, a slight readjustment, I suppose, of the proportions of the custodians, but still very recognisably the custodians that you know and love, the guardians of the Emperor, and still in the Horus Heresy at this point, successful.
Yeah, absolutely. They haven't dropped the ball yet. The kit is, as I said, it was multi-part plastic. There's some
God damn
options in
it.
there. You've got these high-helmed, high-plumed helmets that you can see here. There's some bear heads in the kits that you can build your models, whether they're willing to risk getting shot in the face or not. That's your choice.
Oh, and the blades look
and
so
then,
much
there's
better
options
as
for
blades.
the Vexilla in there, so you can carry proud standard of imperial rule.
Yeah,
on
you've
the
also got
battlefield.
all the Misericordia, as you'd hope.
Yeah,
as well,
absolutely.
Kind of stabbing daggers that the custodians have.
They're just dripping in all the paraphernalia and a power that you'd expect from the Emperor's most elite
faces
warriors.
look
Here you
amazing.
can see some of the different heads that are available to the kit. So you can do a mixture or all of one style, whatever it is that suits
I mean,
you,
they're
really.
painted brilliantly.
You've
But
already
they
said
look
it, but
so
for me, this
good.
is the quintessential image of the Legio Custodes, right? These like serried ranks of sort of spear-wielding, golden armored warriors. I love it. They're not the only sodality in the Custodes battle group box set, though.
good.
You also have the Sentinel Guard, who are essentially
Why are they
the
so
same,
much better than
kind of
anything
unit,
else?
But these are equipped with Presidium shields and Custodian warblades.
Yeah, so another effectively battle line unit of custodians. A normal custodian, such a word can be used to describe the custodians. These ones are a little bit more defensive and a little bit less killy, but every custodian is a master of death and very, very durable. These ones have shields, which in your games of Horus Heresy can allow them to use shield wall special rules and make them a bit more durable against incoming fire, which is really
I don't get sent very much Horus Heresy. I think I'm going to have to send an email.
They're just great. And so essentially you're just making that choice, aren't you, between these two units.
Those Sentinel blades
you
right there
in
look
truth want a little
so
bit of
much
both.
better than the Sentinel blades we currently have.
Of course, there was more in that big army shot that we saw than just these two sodalities. Next up, we have the Shield Captain. I am unapologetic in that this is my favourite of the models in this Custodian release.
looks so
I
good.
genuinely think this is incredible. The level of detail
So
they've
good.
captured on it is so good. It comes with a couple of options. Here you can see the helmeted head and the unhelmeted head. I really like that golden laurel wreath that has been sort of woven into her hair. If you don't know about Custodian Shield Captains, these are essentially a top-tier fighter on the battlefront. They can go up against anything up to and probably including the first captains of the Space Marine Legions. If you're not a Primarch, it is not a problem. If you are, be careful.
Yeah, a shield captain backed up by a squad of custodians can happily take on a Primarch level.
Can they be
character,
used in
and
Warhammer
against anything
40,000?
that's a Space Marine, unless you've got a very, very impressive sword of some sort, you're definitely going to come out on the wrong side of that fight. The miniature is absolutely
So good,
dripping
yeah.
in detail. I think one of the things you can just see in that rotating image there is the text on the inside of the shield.
We got quite excited about this earlier on, didn't we?
So one of the concepts of custodians generally
My
is that they
goodness me.
write their honour name inside their armour, and the idea here being that
You not just
the
use them in
titles that
40K.
this warrior has achieved throughout their career has been so extensive that the
Maybe.
achievements have gone beyond their armour and onto the shield itself.
Yeah, absolutely. A really fantastic model, and I wonder if we'll be talking about this as one of the models of the year this time next year. There's
No, we
more
won't.
inside this battle group than we've shown you so
You're gonna
far.
release
We'll go
some
to the
giant
vehicles.
Primarch
So first of all, you have the Custodian Dreadnoughts. There's two variants. You can choose which one you're going to build. The
Galatus
first
or
of which
Caladius?
is the Contemptor
Oh,
Achilles
sorry,
Dreadnought.
Achilles.
He is equipped with an Achilles War Spear, which is like
I've
the
done one
length
of them.
3 men.
It's just a giant guardian spear, basically, isn't
absolutely.
it? If you get put inside a
I've done both
dreadnought
of
and
them,
you've got a
actually.
custodian,
The only
you're
one
like,
I
I really
haven't done
like
is the
stabbing
Telemon.
people with a spear. Can I continue to do that? And the answer was a firm yes.
Yeah, and it's phenomenally dangerous.
I just
big
started the
damage.
30k
It
word
can-
bearer's
it's
army,
got
but this
armor
has me
bane, so
tempted.
vehicles are in
They
real
did hang
trouble.
out for a little
For
bit
me,
of time.
this is my favourite of the two, and we'll show you the other one in a second.
First
but look at
Heretic's
the pose that you've
fantastic
got on
book.
it. This kit is really poseable. They've made the
Fantastic
most
book.
of the sort of multi-part plastic functionality that this kit enables to give you something really special.
Yeah, the Contemptor Dreadnoughts, all of the Contemptor Dreadnoughts, but particularly the Custodian ones, have been available in resin before, obviously,
Yep.
and they've always been kind of highly posable. None of that posability has been lost in the transition to plastic, and actually it's now an even easier material to work with, and you've got more
another
options
one.
and ways of building. So you can include half a dozen of these Dreadnoughts in your army.
I
if
also
you
saw
wanted to, and every single
Venatari.
one
I'm
of them could
guessing
look
they're
completely
plastic
unique and
now as
different
well.
in terms of posing.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's look at the other one that's in. So this is the Contemptor Galatus Dreadnought. Again,
I think this one's my favourite. I think
There you go.
he looks absolutely awwome. There's something about a Dreadnought.
I
with a
suspect
massive
it's
shield and a
easier to
massive sword,
pose than the
that just
Forge
absolutely
World
works for
resin
me.
one. I
And
really
it
struggled
mirrors
with it.
the two different core unit types
To the
within
point of where
Custodians,
mine are
right? So
very
you've got
much
one
like
with
this.
the spear, the more aggressive one. You've got one with the shield and the sword, the more defensive one. So if you wanted to, you could pair them up, right? You could have the shield one walk around
It would
with
be
your shield
kinda cool,
Custodes and your spear one go
I have them
alongside the
both.
warriors that they fought with in life.
Yeah, the Contemptor Galatus has the Galatus Warblade. That is just going to cut
should really
through
do the
like
Telemon
medium and heavy infantry
some point.
like nothing. A thing to bear in mind about these is every dreadnought is piloted by like a fallen warrior, right? That is entombed within the
A fallen
sarcophagus.
custodian
Just
warrior.
bear in mind that the
entombed
warrior that
within.
is piloting this was a custodian, the absolute fighting elite of the Imperium, handpicked and created by the Emperor.
This is very good.
These are really, really dangerous on the tabletop. In addition to all of that armor, they're phenomenally
What a
skilled
paint job.
warriors.
Yeah, the paint job's
Yeah,
really good.
a very, very good stat line. They can wade into whole phalanxes of.
And I have a
enemy
lovely
Space Marines and
recipe for all of that
Yeah.
that you can
Very-
see
very
already here on the
satisfying. They look
channel.
great,
But if
though.
they send it to me,
The
then
final
we'll
thing
do
that's
it
inside
again.
that custodian battle group box is this. This is the Caladius Annihilator Grav Tank. We'll talk more about other grav tanks in a minute, but essentially think of this as a main battle tank for the Legio Custodes force.
Done one of them as well.
It is equipped with an Arachnus Blaze Carronade, which is the sort of double-barreled weapon you see on top. This is a devastating range.
But it can also be used with an
modes.
Iliastus twin accelerator
cannon. You're thinking 2 shots at strength 10, just blasting vehicles apart. Yeah, nice. Absolutely. Yeah. And then its alternate fire mode is multi-shot and is great at gunning down heavier infantry.
Yeah.
So I think that we were talking about before, and I think you made a really good point of, was stuff in the Legio Custodes force needs to often do 2 things.
Yeah, because you're almost always outnumbered, both in terms of how big your units are, but also in terms of how many units you have on the battlefield.
Outgunned.
So it's not enough that you've got a unit that's very good at killing tanks. It might also need to do some double duty to, pitch into the battle against enemy heavy infantry or support your units, whichever thing is currently giving you challenges. So most units in the Custodian army are quite good at several things.
Yeah, absolutely so. Those are the units that make up the Custodian Guard battle group that we've shown at the start. There are more units coming along the way.
Yeah, that'll be the first thing you can buy. That'll be if you want to go all in for a new Custodian army, that'll be the first thing. Your reinforcements are hot on their heels.
Exactly so. So next is the Caladius Grav Tank. It is very similar to the Caladius Annihilator Grav Tank. It's just not an Annihilator. Instead, it has an Iliastus accelerator cannon on its roof. Think Sikaran battle tank from the Space Marine.
I don't know why that's in my brain, but it is.
War gear is similar, but upgunned version of that kind of weapon. So decent fire rate.
I think I did the
more
Arachnus
medium
Blaze.
and light vehicles, and pretty much any infantry you put in front of it. This is a big, heavy-duty tank.
Yeah, it's another great option for a line battle tank. You won't get many tanks in a Custodian army just because everything costs so many points, but there's certainly a place for one of each of these in a 3,000 point force.
Yeah, absolutely. Sticking on the theme of the grav tanks, we have the biggest of all of them, which is the Coronis Grav Carrier. This thing is enormous.
Plastic.
We've got one on the desk in front of us. We'll show you in a minute. But essentially,
what
this
about
is
the
big
Ares?
enough that it can carry
Gunship?
an entire
Ares gunship?
Custodian Guard and an accompanying hero.
Yeah, you get a kind of a sense of how big it is there because you can see the Custodians next to it. Remember that those are Terminator-sized miniatures, so this is a big old tank.
It really is.
It is massive.
It's not unarmed as well. You can see the guns on it, but the one to talk about maybe is the Neutronium Cascade Projector.
Sounds cool.
We'll tell you more about that another time, but essentially it's a powerful gun in its own right. So in addition to disgorging the most elite fighting units in the galaxy onto the tabletop, it's also hosing devastating firepower.
And all of these are plastic as well. This is a huge plastic kit.
Additionally, you might have seen in the video that we saw before, you have the Venetari Sodality. So these are elite hunter-killer strike troops within the Legio Custodes, borne aloft on these sort of gold wings on contrails.
I've never been interested in them.
Diving deep into the heart of the enemy.
As resin
this is your kind of rapid strike, fast attack choice for the Legio Custodes. You've got a couple of options there.
I'm somewhat interested in a plastic version.
Or you've got the buckler and pistol. Both of those are very lethal. They also all come as standard with Misericordia and effectively like ancient grenades from a bygone era that are more powerful than even things like the melter bombs of the
Hello, Sanguinary Guard.
Some dangerous guys. The kinetic destroyers, which is the sort of handgun-looking thing you can see.
It's
a really powerful hand cannon, basically. The Tarsus buckler reduces the
just take those and put those on the...
or if you equip them with the Veritum,
they might be a little big, those wings.
Say that fast. Really great on the charge. So options a go-go for you to get
just
the most
in case your Custodians weren't scary enough, now they're faster than everyone as well, and there's no escape.
You can see here the front. I believe that is the Neutronium Cascade Mine. So
I think you're right.
Delivering fun into the heart of the enemy.
Delivering fun.
All of this stuff and where you find it exists in the Custodes Liber, which we'll show you here. There you go. It's a big book. It's hardback.
So
it's lovely. It's full of all the lore and the stories and information that you need to learn about the Legio Custodes. Oh, I nearly Adeptus them. And in addition to that, it talks about other elements of the Imperial household. So.
Yep, so you've got the Anathema Psychana, the Sisters of Silence, and you've also got the Assassinorum. So you've got all the various tools of the Imperial household.
Still bigger than the current wings. Good point.
The Emperor kept to himself on Terra as his personal army. All very, very powerful forces in their own right.
Yeah, perfect. So we've got the models in front of us. It'd be fun to do a little bit of show and tell. First of all, we have a little stunt guy in the front.
Heresy Bob for scale here.
A happy little solo auxilia, and let's just stand him alongside the shield captain for context and scale.
Go on then, give us the other camera.
A nice close in a second, guys, just so you get a sense of how this goes.
I'm sliding back. Oh, so nervous.
That's fun.
don't want to
Break it.
Tell me about it.
But why do they look so
the
much better
Custodian
than
Guard
full
are
cannons?
big.
Yeah, it's
right?
the
These are
proportions.
the pinnacle of the gene crafting that the Emperor does when he's creating his elite warriors. The only thing better, I suppose, is the Primarchs.
What they've done is they've
they've
shrunk
And
the
half of them went
shoulders.
bad, really.
Yeah,
So, I
right.
mean, maybe they're the best they got.
And they've
and then you can see
beefed
the
out
scale
the
of the other
thighs.
things. So you put the little
The
guy
shoulders
up
are a bit
alongside the
smaller.
grav carrier. It's just enormous. This thing is huge. If I spin it round, you can see the entrance hatch.
It's like bigger than your hand, Adam.
Here is
It's
a
a
custodian.
big old thing.
So it's got this really cool entrance hatch. I was looking at some.
They're very
some
like
frames and that's detailed on the inside. So I think
custodians,
if you're one of these modelists
before
who
he
likes this
came
sort of
on,
thing,
are
you
very
might be able
like
to
this.
have it
And
open or
the
make a
shoulders
diorama
come
or
up like
whatever
in
you
the
want to do.
helmet sort of thing, like that.
Yeah,
If
so
you
I think
pull the shoulders
people are going to have
down
a
a
lot
bit
of fun with this, and
the
and make
size
them a
of
little
the
bit
thing.
it's really
sleeker.
cool, isn't it? What else is there to say on these? We should talk a little bit about the dreadnoughts. If you look at the sort of the chest armor on them, if I tilt them, you
Yeah,
might
so
be able to
there's a
see.
few different
And then
options on there.
just
Actually, I was looking at
stretch
the kits
the leg a
before.
little bit.
You've got options for things like the shoulder pads. So if you've got multiple dreadnoughts, you can have slightly different shoulder pads. There's some nice little areas for heraldry. So these ones have got.
I like that
some
they say
heraldic
shoulder pads
devices
as well. I get
designed
yelled
onto
at in the
them.
comments when I
There's some
call them
different,
shoulder pads, but I still do
faces,
it.
I think, in the kit. You've got some different chests. You've obviously got the different weapons. So you've got loads of ways of making these really different. There's loads of detail on them. So, but a lot of it's kind of sculpted on. So you could paint them very quickly if you wanted to. If you wanted, spray them gold, put a wash on them. They look pretty
You're
great.
almost ready for war.
Yeah,
at
they're
that
kind of
point,
ready.
aren't you? Yeah,
But
absolutely.
also, if you wanted to spend hours and hours and hours and make these, the best model you've ever painted, they are a fine candidate for that as well. They are just really,
Indeed,
really
they
lovely
are.
models to put your hobby hours into and get something really nice out of it. The other thing that is worth saying about a lot of these miniatures is they will obviously have some dual purpose in Warhammer 40,000 as well.
Absolutely.
So if you have an Adeptus Custodes army, things like the Dreadnoughts obviously are already a data sheet in your force. You already have data sheets for things like
So they're
Custodians
not
with
removing
guiding
them.
spears and with
That's
shields.
good news.
The shield captains are an
Shield
absolute shoo-in,
captains as
right?
well. So lots of these, if you wanted to put them into your Warhammer 40,000 army, there's absolutely no reason not to.
Yeah, perfect. So
Good.
we're not done with the Horus Heresy. There's still more. There's obviously a little bit for the Legiones Astartes. So first up, we have the Legion Glaive Super Heavy Tank. You were really excited about this
I
one.
think this is my favourite. This is my favourite super heavy, and I think it's mostly
Blimey.
because I just love Volkite. There's something
It
about
is a
it
cool
that's just
looking gun, isn't
like
it?
intrinsically heresy for me. And this is the largest plastic Volkite gun we have ever seen,
Mm-hmm.
not counting things like stuff on Titans that we might have seen in epic scale.
Yeah,
in
in
the
tiddly
past.
tiny scale.
But it is an absolutely enormous tank. It is obviously the Fellblade is the same chassis, but this has, I think, a cooler looking gun. Although I know you're a big fan of
So
the
Fellblade is the one for me, but I can't deny the coolness of this. The panning shots that you're getting right now really just show how cool and detailed this model is, right? That camera is so close to the model, and it just looks just crisp and brilliant and exciting.
This one, of course, painted in Iron Warriors colours.
Yes, well-
it also looks equally good in the other 17 available colours.
Yeah, I would think so. Better maybe in the colours of the first, I think. But, who am I to judge? It is a Volkite carronade, if you're wondering. It's just an enormous gun that will deflagrate your enemy should you so
Great
desire.
ones, great special rule.
It's not the
Isn't the
only
Fellblade the
Astartes
largest gun
tank
they ever made?
available.
It was for a
there is
while.
also the return of a stalwart of the Legiones Astartes, and indeed the Space Marines of the 41st Millennium as well, with the Whirlwind missile tank.
There's something just kind of lovable about the Whirlwinds. This is
It's a change in the scale and
it's just
magnitude
nice,
here,
it's just
isn't
nice. It's got a very useful little artillery piece. Does lots of useful, very cool stuff for you in the
feels
game.
a bit-
This is a long-range artillery support piece that can
Like it's holding its
reach enemy
breath.
units where most
You
of
see
the
what I
things
mean?
can't get to them. Lots of the different missiles you can give it have morale sapping effects, basically.
Yeah,
so
so
it's a debuffing
If you put
piece
so
of
it
artillery.
comes with explosive standard, you upgrade those missiles to Pyrax if you want. At which point you can literally just drive
the new
people
Rhino
off of
chassis.
objectives by causing panic.
Baby.
Fantastic for
It's just the
shifting
Whirlwind.
hard to move.
I thought they'd
Normally
already
you're
done
trying to
this.
kill
Didn't
dozens
they
and
do it
dozens
with
of models to
Scorpio?
claim objectives. Whereas
If
land
they
one of
just
those
make them
shells
walk
on it
off
and just,
it, then you can
make
just
them
hit
give it to you.
We were talking before, this is obviously painted up in the colours of the Imperial Fists. We thought it was quite amusing that it's done as a Templar,
Yep.
because they're obviously the keenest usually to get into close combat.
You can imagine how that went. It's like, my Lord Dawn, I'm now a Templar brother and I'm itching to serve. And he's like, sit in this at the back, please.
Oh, maybe a punishment, perhaps.
Maybe he just likes Sigismund too much. Who knows? It is fantastic, and we're very excited for it. Where will you find all the information?
took a
you
turn
need
too
for
fast,
these?
it would
Well,
tip over.
Thankfully, there is a new general tactica
welcome to
on the
40K.
horizon. It's called
Well,
Mailed Fist,
Warhammer.
and it details the Legiones Astartes super heavy tanks.
Mailed
lots of lore,
Fist.
organisation charts, and information on how they were fielded, the operations that they fulfilled, that sort of thing, as well as some rules, including the rules for the returning Whirlwind.
Well, I mean, we did the Fellblade.
And those of you with eagle eyes
buy
may
a
have spotted
glaive?
there is one Ultramarine
There
in
we
this
go.
preview.
Ultramarine fans,
We
being
are
up, we got you.
contractually obligated to include at least one Ultramarine Space Marine in every preview, and you can see him there, about to be crushed
good.
under the uncompromising wheels of the Iron Warriors.
If he's not dead yet, he will be soon. Perfect. So, that was great. Loads of stuff for the Horus Heresy. I'm going to quickly dive into the questions and see where we are at.
More questions?
Right, so...
How do you mail a
we've
fist?
got,
First
will the
up?
Custodes be
Obviously.
playable in Warhammer 40,000? That's from
Otherwise it
Blood
doesn't
of
have the
Dead.
right
We've covered
I
impact.
think
that
we've
one
sort
already.
of covered that one.
Loads of those
Yes.
models will be, and it's
Yeah.
really worth saying again, if it's got a analogous unit in Warhammer 40,000, by all means use it. If it suits you, that would be great. Will we ever see more Sisters of Silence? And the answer to that is they have rules, and all of their lore and stuff is contained within that Liber Custodes, so you can continue to field them. I hope one day we'll get more cool models for them as well.
There's no new Sisters of Silence in this particular wave of releases,
But they
there's
are very
absolutely-
much catered to.
Yeah, there's
Small
absolutely no reason that we
competitive.
wouldn't
It is
in
a
the
bit
future,
diddy,
and they
isn't it?
absolutely feature
It
in
is
the
next
rules,
to
for
basically
this expansion.
2
And
super
the question is, can you
heavies.
tell us how many heads there were? I probably could have done, but I've forgotten because it's been quite a long preview. I think
How
you
many
get
heads for
how many bear heads? I think you get enough to do all of the models helmeted.
I think you
or
do, yeah.
bear
So if you want an entire squad in helmets, you can do it that way. If you want an entire squad in bear heads, you can do it that way as well, I think.
Perfect. But don't make your buying decision based on what I said right now, because I might be wrong.
I had a question earlier on that I actually got wrong.
Ooh,
I
go
just wanted
on.
to revisit. So somebody asked if the Corsair unit was able to join, Huron's bodyguard was able to join another unit. I said it wasn't. It is, in fact, able to join
Nice.
another unit. So,
Perfect.
I said that.
And the last question, this is from...
And I don't even have the rules.
And the question is, in relation to the tank, is this plastic? Everything we've shown in this entire preview is in plastic. So I don't know which tank you meant, but the answer is yes. The Coronis Grav Carrier, both the tanks, the super heavy, all of it, it's plastic all
do
the
you
way
want to just
along.
get a shot of the
Oh,
grab
yeah.
carrier next to...
The scale of the thing is
Yeah.
quite fun, isn't it? So try not to scrape the metalwork against each other. So I'm going to put them so they're sort of end
you go.
to end.
That's how big
You
the
can get a
Coronis
sense
is.
of how big they are.
If you haven't seen a
With the
Legion
camera on
Fellblade,
those.
they are enormous.
It is very nearly super heavy size. the
It's really
Coronis.
not far off. It's certainly not quite as bulky, perhaps.
I
as
think
the
they might
Space
travel
Marines.
in more comfort. Than
They definitely do,
than
yes.
the,
They have a bit more space
Space Marines.
inside there, perhaps.
Fantastic.
But it's a
Crazy
big old
big.
tank, certainly.
Right, there we go. We are not quite done yet. We did promise you that we would return to the grim darkness of the far future, and here we are with a little teaser.
I told you. An Iron Warrior.
Well, that was a tease, wasn't it?
So that could mean almost anything.
It could. All we
mean
know
almost
is that the reign of iron approaches, and some of you may have been able to form your own opinions on things that maybe were being hinted at with hazard stripes and sort of burnished silver armor. Who
defiler?
knows?
Could be a
If you want to
defiler.
have a look at those images again, hop over to warhammercommunity.com. There'll be an article appearing there. If it's not already there, it'll be very
Maybe it
soon.
is.
And you can maybe glean a few more bits of information. That brings us to the end of our preview. If you've enjoyed this and you want more Warhammer for tonight, over in the US at Palm Springs right now, there is a Warhammer Open event taking place where there's fantastic games of Warhammer being played all weekend. And as
There we
soon as
go.
we're done here, we're going to throw back to the team out there who will be commentating on fantastic games of Warhammer 40,000, I believe. So jump on board and have a look at what's going on there by all means.
That's it. That is it.
Your questions, thank you to all of you.
There you go. What about the Ravenwing tease? People have been saying Ravenwing. When was there a Ravenwing tweet tease? I haven't seen anything to do with that. Personally. There we go. That is the end. We can quickly jump in. Although I am getting pretty hungry. I do need to have some dinner. Oh, well, they've actually previewed a little bit more on the website. New Year preview revealed the Eye of Terror. So you can see it a little bit clearer here. It might be Perturabo himself. Could be. Could possibly be. Or it's just a big old hell brute. Or something else. Who knows? But there we go. That was the teaser. That is probably the next book. It might not be in the next edition, but that's the next book. I would guess. Well, I guess we'll find out what that is. We've seen the glaive and the whirlwind. Is there anything else that we didn't see in the video? No, that's all good. Custodes, we see a little bit more in detail here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, they're so gorgeous. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Very nice. Very, very nice. I love this Shield Captain model. I think it's brilliant. I think it's absolutely gorgeous, and I want to paint one. I want to paint one immediately. You know me, I love painting gold. I love gold! The look of it, the smell of it, the taste of it, the texture. We had the animation. The High Elves as well. That was also previewed today. The High Elf Blood Bowl team. They're very, very nice. Again, just I said it again at the time, that they're flawlessly painted. It's a really, really impressive paint job on them. They look wonderful. I would definitely not be able to do them justice. We had 3 battle tomes. The Fate Master of Tzeentch is over here. The Argent Shrouds as well. And we also have... this is the thing that Flying Muttley asked about if they said it on the video. They didn't. The Warp Flame Cavalcade is the battle force. There's a lot of miniatures in that, including a Lord of Change, which is incredible. And the Zangor Warflock, because got to get some Zangors in there somewhere. And a Regiment of Renown, the Seekers of Silver, as well. Which is cool. We have the Venari Lord Regent for the Lumineth Realm-lords. And then they also, that's the other option there with the helmet on, which is cool. The Iliathan Warhost and the Huracan Vanguard as well. And a Regiment of Renown with a Sigil Convocation to get your endless spells, should you need them for your Lumineth Realm-lords collections. So that was the other stuff they didn't preview there. Let's see if there's anything more in here. Ossiarch Bone Reapers, Liege Cavalos on War Chariot. Liege Mortek. I love this miniature. I love this miniature very, very much. I think he's gorgeous. Oh, and he's got an axe as well. Or a spear. Lovely. Mortek Triaxes. There they are. The Boner Men with the bony arrows. And the Mortis Reapers. The Ossiarch Bone Reapers Burke. There is a Battle Force, the Null Myriad Phalanx. And a spearhead in the form of a lot of cavalry. A lot of cavalry. And also the Regiment of Renown, which they did preview in the video. Then, Maelstrom, Lair of the Tyrant. Including... You make some amazing characters, including but not limited... There you go, there's your Ravenwing. A Ravenwing Librarian on bike. That's it. That's the Ravenwing reference. You can now make a Ravenwing Librarian on bike, which you were able to do a few years ago, and then they got rid of it, and now it's back. There you go. The Maelstrom Battalions. We saw those in the article, in the video, and then of course Prince Uriel with the Corsairs. There's Prince Uriel, looking suitably gorgeous, and the Sky Reavers looking wonderful, and of course they are Karseth as well, and the Viper and Starfang, and then the returning Void Scarred, Corsair Void Scarred as well. Not that they went anywhere. And then finally, the last one, or at least the first one that came out, was Huron Blackheart and the Masters of the Maelstrom. Because I can't really read it around my camera. I thought it said Maesters for a minute there, and I was like, interesting. There we go. There's Huron and his friends, his best friends, all together. And they did get some new miniatures as well. Red Corsair Raiders. There. Looking lovely. They're not particularly Red Corsair coded either. I imagine this shoulder pad is very easy to swap out if you don't want to be red Corsairs. So that's really cool. And the Reeve Captain, slightly different for his leg. That looks like that's sculpted in, but yeah. A few more bits and pieces. The red Corsairs, and then there's the upgrade kit as well. See, there's the shoulders for the Legionnaires and the Terminators. So there you have it, folks. All done, all finished. I think I've got one of your Ravenwing librarians, Rich. Yeah, that was very good. Very good preview. Very good preview indeed. Even if I do say so myself, of which, of course, I had nothing to do with it, other than just streaming it. But there we go. Lovely. I enjoyed that one. That was very good. I was pleasantly surprised by how much good content there was in that one. I think everyone's a winner there. Everyone's a winner. Except anybody who doesn't do anything to do with any of those games. Necromunda fans, sorry. But fan of Age of Sigmar, Warhammer 40,000, Horus Heresy, or Blood Bowl, you dine well today. You dine well today. And we got 100 likes on the stream. Amazing. Thank you very, very much. I hope you enjoyed that one. I enjoyed that one. It was good. That's a lot of models in my immediate future. If indeed Games Workshop chooses to send them to me, they may not, of course. So, but I hope they do. Games Workshop, if you're watching, please send me everything that was previewed, because I'd love to paint all of it. And I will. And you know I will. But yeah, I think we're actually going to run off, because I am getting hungry, so I do need to actually go and sort out some dinner. It's already quite late. It's 5 to 9 now, so that's what I need to go and do, because I didn't eat before we went live, which is a silly idea, but I wasn't hungry, and I was like, it'll be fine. This will only be about 45 minutes. Nope, an hour and a half. So yeah, but if you enjoyed that one, thank you so much. Tomorrow we have a painting video for you. It is probably going to be Necrosaur Amantar. It might be something else, but it's probably going to be Necrosaur Amantar tomorrow. And we will be back live once again on Monday and Wednesday next week. And there won't be a preview next Friday, so we won't be live next Friday. But we will be live once again next week. And for those of you who are regular viewers and interested in the when we're going to finally conclude Tale of Many Warhipsters, it's not going to be this weekend. We might do it next weekend. I need to talk to the guys and see if they're available for it. But we shall see. Just had a lot of irons and a lot of fires, and I need to get some things done before I can think about that. So, yeah, because there's a little bit more effort that goes into Tale of Many Warhipsters, especially the final one, because we've got to do all of the prize totting up and stuff like that. But yeah, anyway, thank you very much for hanging out with me today. Yeah, see you later. Did you enjoy it? I enjoyed it. Was that good for you? See you later, guys. Bye.